It worked.
Wow.
Hey, well. So what do we think of that?
It worked.
Hell yeah.
That was great.
I was like, are we going to come on the screen after it's over? Like it like paused for a minute. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Is this on?
So if for everyone who watched the stream last time, again, we had no intro video and Dave made comment about it again. So I suggested, why don't we open it up for the viewers to see if someone wants to come up with something. So we did get a couple of submissions, and clearly what we had there was a standout winner. So I'm going to put, as Rocco Petson did this, I just wanted a link to his YouTube channel in the comments right now, right? So whether you're watching this live, don't go to the channel just yet. Watch the rest of this. Or you're watching this on replay, go and check out Rocco's channel. He's got, I'm looking at it now, he's got nearly 40,000 subscribers, 240 videos. It's an awesome channel, and he's an incredible guitar player. So
yeah, the man can play.
Yes,
go over there
Rocco's
and check
the
him out.
man.
And we love Rocco because that intro,
Yeah.
man,
It's a good vibe.
I love the old video game aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yes. Very cool.
All right. Hey, how's everyone doing? What's been happening for the last month? Been a while. Dave, I know you went up to.
I pretty much haven't been
You've
here
been
at all.
everywhere, man.
I was in Tennessee for a week at the Andy Woodshed Guitar Experience. That was interesting. Going to, going to the South. Always interesting.
Was that the amp wall? You had the amp wall?
We had the
wall of amps.
Wattage Cottage, they called it.
Oh, the Wattage Cottage.
Good name.
The first name we had, they didn't think would be appropriate. We were going to call it the Headroom. But that got vetoed.
Not bad.
We still called it the Headroom though, because we were fucking stupid.
You could have had it. You could have had a Headfirst stamp in the head.
Yeah, right. We needed a yeah. Wait a minute. Joe Wyatt doesn't have a Headfirst stamp.
What?
Joe,
what's wrong with him?
What's wrong with you? I think your collection is lacking a little. I think you need to sell a couple and then buy a Headfirst amp. And I think you need a Monomyth amp, and you need a Dan Gower mod. Considering you have like 100 amps, you at least need those three too.
Yeah, I agree on that one.
Joe's an awesome guy.
We're in violent agreement on that point.
Yeah, Joe's an awesome guy. He makes cool videos, and his channel is Passion for Tone. It's a brand new channel, kind of, but he makes really good comparison videos, like, because he knows how to do it. Like, he plays, the same riffs in every video. It's the same riffs, so you can reference a video from a while ago and still hear that amp with the same riffs. He might change it up. He might change it up if it's a different style of amp or something. But like, say it's a rock amp, it's he changes. He keeps the riffs kind of constant because he wants it that way. So you can reference an old video and go, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And the videos look really nice, and he does a real simple explanation and talks about it a little bit, and it's cool. It's a little different than everyone else's videos too, so which I like too.
Awesome.
He did a tour of your shop and factory, didn't he? That's how I was introduced to him. Because
he did that. He did one of Anderson guitars. He did one of Fryette. He did a whole bunch of stuff when it was all on the same trip. He was out here, but I mean, he does great videos, man. Check his channel out. It's good.
Well,
but he probably has like 100+ guitars, and he probably has close to 100 amps.
What's a few more, right?
What's a few more? Well, we were talking about that. He goes, yeah, I'm going to get rid of that one and that one and that one. I'm like, oh, well, you need more then to replace.
Keep the numbers up.
He only keeps ones he likes. If he buys it and he's like, goes away.
If he's got 100, he likes a lot of them.
He likes a lot. It's kind of crazy how many he has. Well, that's how I got involved in doing that show, right? So it was like, just come down. You can come stay at my lake house for a few days. Okay. And beautiful house right on a lake in Tennessee. Just unbelievably gorgeous with a boat and everything. And I mean, it's like a house. It's like two houses in one, because the second level below is like another whole nother house with a whole nother kitchen and everything.
Sweet.
But he goes, yeah, I got pretty much every one of your amps. You don't have to ship anything. I'm like, oh, okay. And it's not true. He almost has every one of my amps.
That's the best kind of customer.
So we did a whole little amp switching deal and a whole 9 yards. I think Jason's frozen.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on. Can you hear me still?
We can hear you.
Okay.
You just have this look on your face. Well, he's gone. He's back.
I'm gonna have to turn my camera off and on again. Hang on.
Did it heat up?
We'll keep it going. Dave, I saw that. I saw a video recently. That was it Robert Baker?
Yeah, where I threw his Marshall in the trash.
That was hilarious.
This is great.
That was, that was just something. We were talking about it, and then we were like, well, what if I throw it away? And then, like,
that was a good video. Yeah,
so
that's cool.
We just threw the head shell in the trash, literally.
Yeah.
What was that mod that was in that amp?
I have no idea. Someone did it. There was a tube loop of some sort. Didn't trace it out. Didn't sound good enough to want me to trace it out. Like you didn't like. Yeah. You're like, yeah. And then there was an extra gain stage shoved into the front of maybe an 800 circuit. I'm not sure, but it didn't sound that good. So I was like, hey, you should have me fix this for you, or do something with it, or just put it back to stock.
Yeah, got it and start over.
I mean, fundamentally, it would be a good amp if you just reverted it back. Should be okay. But yeah, I mean, in that video, I don't know if you saw later in the video, we were comparing it to the JEL, and in stock mode and not stock mode, and it was just kicking its ass.
Yeah.
So
way bigger sound.
Yeah, of course, it helps when Andy Wood is playing.
Oh man,
yeah,
he's a monster.
That's a fucking machine.
And he kind of knows it's funny when he hears a sound, he kind of knows just what to play too. Like he'll like, and he has a wonderful knack for also being able to make it sound clean, no matter how dirty it is. Like you just change up the guitar and how he touches the like a proper guitar player should know how to do.
Yeah. Well, he's just got a monster right hand, doesn't he? Which is just a huge part of it. It's like he's truly great. But anyway, that whole thing was fun. That was interesting. Paul Gilbert was amazing. Doing his thing that he does these days, which is like playing old cover songs and then playing the vocal melodies on slide on the guitar, which is pretty insane.
That's cool
to hear, like Led Zeppelin songs with you're hearing this, and then the slide part does the vocal melody, and he's somehow playing the rhythm and the slide all at the same time. It's fucking crazy.
Genius.
And he's also an incredible vocalist. He's like in some of the they do these, like all-star player jam kind of things that where he got to sing several songs and stuff, and you're like, wow, didn't know that.
Yeah, I listened to quite a lot of his solo stuff where he's got albums where he sings through the whole, like that kind of like more kind of conventional pop songs kind of stuff, or rock songs. Yeah, he's a great singer.
He's a great singer. Yeah, truly. And it's the weirdest thing ever because he's playing these odd guitars. They're 8-gauge strings on the guitars, right? Where he's playing slide on these, by the way, with 8-gauge strings, which is interesting in itself.
Amazing touch.
And he's playing a pedal board, and I don't know what's on the pedal board. I didn't look. There's a Univibe, obviously, because he's using that, and there's some sort of drive pedals, but he's going into a twin.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Loud.
Yeah.
Turned up. And then whatever drive he's using And it's
Good
so
bell.
funny. You would think with 8-gauge strings and that setup that it would sound small or tiny or something. It's the notes sound like they're size of a tree trunk.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. It's like a tree trunk.
Yeah.
You know,
he's stacking a whole bunch of different like drives, and he's also got a compressor, I think, as well for some things.
yeah, but he's just made it sound kind of ratty in a good way. Like it's almost like if you took like a Jack White kind of ratty kind of tone that's raw and fat, and that's what he's using.
Yeah.
And it's not like a watered down pedal tone that you would hear. And it's funny, a lot of the Nashville guys kind of do that, and it's kind of it's not like the greatest thing in the world. He just kind of came and just fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just got a knack for getting great sounds. Like I've seen him do that same kind of show probably 2 or 3 times since the last sort of 5 years. And the first time round, he played at a small club that one of our best friends runs, and I got to jump up and guest with him, and like we just did like an impromptu jam on the stage. And
cool.
he had a hand wired plexi reissue up on stage, but he did the same thing with that. Like he just kind of ran it barely even broken up. It was loud, but it was like he was running through the normal channel, you know.
Yeah.
So it was already really like kind of bassy, you know. And he just had this massive long pedal board that was just like just crazy long. It was like
he just sets it up on a piece of plywood, that board.
Exactly. I mean, it was just a row of pedals, and you know, just really old school, like just stuck it together with a bunch of cables, and you know, nothing kind of particularly like pro looking or fancy. But as soon as he plugged into it, you know, 2 seconds he starts playing, you know it's him. Even if you're not even looking, it's just that sound. He's got this way of dialing in his rig to work with his hand tone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like he's already got a sound that he gets no matter what he plays, but he's kind of worked this to really enhance everything he already has in his hands, which I think was cool.
Yeah, it was
that
good.
That must have been an awesome experience, man, standing up there with him.
Oh, yeah, imagine.
Yeah.
Scary.
Talk about shitting yourself. Yeah. There was no warm up.
It's like, what do I do now?
Oh my God.
The thing is, we didn't even know what was going to happen. Like there was me and another guitar player, and we were both going to do like separate jams with him, not as a group. So, you know, and I was thinking, oh fuck, he's going to like, you know, want to do something like super shreddy. And he's like, oh, can we do some Trower style blues? I was like, yes, perfect. Like comfort zone for me. So I was just like, yep, good stuff. So you know, but it's really intimidating to jump up on stage with a player like Paul Gilbert, to be honest, or anyone that you've kind of looked up to, because I've been watching Paul Gilbert since I've been a kid.
Yeah, but so, Paul is like the, you know, man, he's the pinnacle, man. Like,
yeah, exactly. He's like just
seriously
amazing. But it's interesting though. He's one of those guys who really goes out of his way to make you feel crazy confident on stage.
Yeah,
like he's cheering to the crowd and like, come on, like hands together kind of thing for him and everything. And he's like, as I'm like playing stuff, he's doing this, like, you know, next to me.
He's a character, isn't he?
He's just awesome.
He's like an odd character.
Yeah, he's just really cool.
Like sometimes when you see him and you're like, is he okay?
Yeah, he's really
he's okay.
He seems kind of oblivious to what's going on around him. He's like he's kind of got tunnel vision just for what he loves doing.
He's okay, but it's almost like there's a slight, I don't know. It just something a bit off, but in a good way. He's a nice guy. I mean,
yeah, just crazy cool.
Dan, what do you got behind you, man?
Oh, this is a couple of
this month. Let's go to Dan next. Yeah, is that what you've been doing?
We've got a couple of nice 100-watt. We've got a JCM 800 on the top, which is from it's from 95. It's a limited edition run they did that was the horizontal input models, and factory red Tolex. Same kind of thing you find in like a mid to late 80s 800.
I know the
I love the red.
Yeah.
The
red.
Go
ahead. No,
sorry.
go.
Oh yeah, I was going to say the red. I always think looks really cool with a JCM 800 because the black on the front just kind of like stops it from looking too red.
Yeah, I agree. I think that looks super cool.
Yeah,
that harkens back to there was some magazine or something that Steve Stevens did once, and there was a red JCM 800 half stack in it.
Oh, I saw that picture.
And
yeah,
a really long time ago. And ever since I saw that, I'm just like, oh, I love that look.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
and now that I'm thinking about it, I need to do a black face something with the red Tolex.
Yeah,
fun.
100%. Yeah, it's just a really cool look. And both of these two both got more or less like the same kind of mods. They both got Killer Cali mods with all the extra switches and tube buffered loop, and one of them's got both a series and parallel function on the loop. It's just got like 3 jacks on the back, and like a line level thing that I did with it.
I got a question for you. Did you keep so the top one's 100 watt, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that has the three cap or the 3 filter cans. Did you keep that filtering style?
No.
In that? Okay,
no.
You changed it.
Changed it up, yeah. So you've got like the two sections of the first cap, the 50 and 50 that join together, paralleled for 100 UF, and then the one that was originally for the screens, which was, I think it was originally jumpered together as well. That one, that one's now split, and it's now one half of it's doing the screens and the other half is doing the phase inverter. So it's more or less I've converted it to like a traditional early 80s filtering arrangement, but just with 3 caps instead of
with the nodes.
Yeah, exactly. With the extra drop resistors, and everything leading to the preamp cap.
You can't play with the values doing that, but it's still better than the stock arrangement.
To some extent, I've played around with the the drop resistor values and everything, so they're kind of up and down in places. There's this one in particular, and I've noticed it with a bunch of the other ones from the late 80s that I've worked on. They've all had a little bit higher B plus than like the early 80s JCM 800s. All of these are like usually like when I'm getting 240 or 242 or something out of the wall. These I'm seeing like 478, 480 on the plates, whereas most of the time I'm seeing like 455, 460 max on the early JCM 800s. So this one, it needed a little bit more drop resistance in certain nodes just to bring the voltages down, to kind of where I want to see them. But to some extent, I kind of mess around with that stuff per amp because I think that's kind of something that's a big part of the sound and character of an amp when you get all the voltage nodes dialed in exactly how you want them to be.
Absolutely, massive difference.
Yeah, it's a big thing. It really makes a hell of a difference when you get them dialed in. And I'm not talking like ballpark values, but a lot of times like actually loading in like a decade box and in real time playing it, and then like, okay, let's try another resistance, play it again, and then you kind of get to the point where you're like, okay, these two are kind of the best. Blindfold, then you're just like, okay, you kind of just whichever one you land on in the end, you kind of stick with. But yeah, so that one's got all that stuff. It's got the the horizontal input PCB board, which is really a shit board. But you know what, I bypassed the vast majority of it, and anything I didn't bypass, any unused tracks that are on the board, I grounded them all out, so that they're not going to be.
The only good thing about those boards is that they're really easy to work on. You just pots out and flip it over, right?
Absolutely.
The track layout.
The only shit thing with them though is the solder pads come off really easily.
So the track layout is on them is crazy.
Oh, the layout everywhere.
Like the phase inverter cap, the entry to the phase inverter cap's on the other side of the tone stack. It's fucking crazy.
That's why there's so much bleed.
With the volume at 0, I mean, you've got so much bleed through. It's worse than like some of the pre-tone stack Jose's and stuff.
It's probably worse than the 1959 modified.
Yeah.
The
Not that we know
wait,
yet,
I got a
but-
story about that.
Okay, good.
But yeah, on those amps you have to cut traces and jumper with shielded wire over to like how the EQ is fed, because it crisscrosses. I can't quite remember how, but it crisscrosses, and then you get all this bleed because of that, and you got to be careful. You can fix it, but
yeah, exactly. If you're modifying these and you're going to be doing a circuit, you know, like say, you know, 3 or 4 gain stages in it, and you're going to be doing other things like around the sockets, it's kind of just better to just bypass the board and just go straight to the sockets. Couple of tag strips, do everything kind of point to point where possible, and then otherwise, you know, anything else. If you are going to have to use certain parts of the board, just ground out the tracks that you're not using, because otherwise they're going to sit there like antennas, just picking up everything.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Even if you don't use them, if you didn't ground them out, they're still active.
Yeah.
You know,
I did one recently. I did one of those recently too, and I was just, I think I had 8 pounds of
you
shielded wire in there.
Yeah.
They're a lot. I mean, man, they're it sounds great. I mean, it sounded great. They're definitely, they're quite a bit of work to work around all that, you know. Just a tight little spot, and they got so much tracks in a tight little spot.
You're almost better like lopping off, like just leaving the phase inverter section of the board and lopping off the whole board and putting in some tag strips and stuff, and you know, just leave the phase inverter section. Literally, like, I mean, years ago, like Bogner, I remember used to like his original mods, the snorkeler mods and stuff. He would used to cut the circuit board in a Marshall and just leave the the whole phase inverter section, cut it off, throw it away, and then tack in another circuit board he had that had the mod on it.
Yeah, Diesel's the same as well from the 80s. If you see those ones, they've all been lopped off in the middle, and it's just like a whole bunch of tag strips in there. So
we're at Sweetwater, right? And so Marshall has their little setup there and stuff, and they have those 2 amps. And Michael Nielsen goes, I want to go over and you know, he's like, I went over and checked those out. And he goes, what? He was like, yeah, the 800 is okay, but it's really bright. And then the other, and he goes, and the other is I don't get it all. I mean, I get what it is, and I was trying to explain it, but he goes, I don't get it at all. Well, you can do that on the Jose. Just take the gain stage out; it'd be the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's
except no loop and no nothing, and and he's like, I don't understand what they were thinking. I'm like, well,
there
you go.
It's kind of.
Are they? I mean, I still haven't seen any of them.
I haven't seen anyone own one.
Exactly.
At all.
I've only seen them on, you know, on like trade shows or, you know, shows like that, or, you know.
Yeah, I think Sweetwater still
YouTube channels.
I think Sweetwater still doesn't have them.
Oh, actually, I know someone who does have one. He's a studio owner.
Well, that's why.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do they have them? I'm looking up right now. I'm just kind of curious.
I'd be interested.
Modified. Oh, went up in price.
What is it?
Nope, still pre-order. On the way. It's been on the way since they announced it. It's vaporware.
What's the new price?
It's vaporware. Oh, the price now?
Yeah,
$38.49. So wait a minute. Now, people, check this out. This is $38.49. My Jose is $37.99. It has the extra gain stage. It has everything else, and it has a foot switch, and not foot switchable, but an effects loop, bypassable effects loop, proper. Yeah, I don't know.
So when those amps were announced, you remember in like one of the first or second chats that we did, when those amps were announced, the recommended retail price in Australia was going to be 10,000 Australian dollars.
Yeah. I remember this. Yeah,
9999. It fucking was 9999. And then no sooner did they had that, and then the retailers actually had like, you know, hey, our special price is going to be, and it went down to about $8,000. And now I've just looked it up. So the standard price on those the 100-watt 59 modified is now $6,699, which is about, you know, that's kind of in line with the BE 100 Deluxe here now.
Sure,
I guess.
Yeah.
So they started here, and
yeah, but I
still
mean,
it is,
you know, you're getting a single channel, no loop, not much gain amp, or you can get a B100 for in the US it's $200 more, but it's a 3-channel amp with a loop and all sorts of voicing switches that you can make it sound as bad or good as you'd like to make it sound.
It's even got some shielded wire in it, Dave.
It has shielded wire. Oh my God. Imagine that.
Can you imagine?
And it has superior transformers for sure.
Yes.
And yeah.
If you want that amp, though, if you do want an 800, if you want to go that route, you're definitely better off just getting one modded by somebody, 100%. You know?
Yeah. And it won't bleed through.
So Sinead, man, we're still doing what's everyone been up to?
Oh yeah, man.
What have you been up to?
Man, this since we last talked, I've been doing mods. It's been a lot of JCM 800s. Got another one.
Anything for Jamie Stevens?
Nope. I haven't talked to him for a while. I haven't talked to him for a bit.
Yeah, he wanted me to mod this Sound City amp that was here or change it, and I didn't get to it. You know, it's a kind of a hard thing to mod, and he didn't really want a major mod. He just wanted some tone changes to it. And then eventually he's like, well, I'm going to send it to Brian Karsten, you know, and then I think Brian said no.
Yeah.
And then he sent it to Andy Fuchs. Well, we'll see what happens there.
All right. Okay.
We'll find out. But yeah, it's been 800s. I got another thumbs up. I got another horizontal on the bench I'm about to finish. I got a studio 800 I'm going to do. And then man, I've been, back in the sourcing parts because I had so much parts on hand last year. So I'm back into that. So I'm just kind of seeing some price changes there, which kind of sucks.
Your 40 cents cap now went to $1.
Yeah. Back in the, sourcing tubes and talking around, figuring out to where everybody's kind of going now. But yeah, and then probably we'll do a small production run next month. That's my plan. And then pretty much the year's going to be over for me.
Yeah.
We're at the tail end of this thing already, It went so fast. Where the hell did this year go?
Christmas is just around the corner.
Yeah, and then NAMM. Tomorrow will be NAMM.
Yeah.
Who's coming? Come on.
I asked Jason. I said, do you want to go? And he goes, yeah. We've been talking about it a little bit.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty interested in going. As I said last time, I'm not bothering with exhibiting or anything, but just to go.
Yeah.
And because I've been chatting quite a bit with
all of you need to come and just get an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
cheap as the airfare and drinking a bunch.
I might have it. Yeah, we just need to figure out how to register.
Yeah, we'll talk.
That shit. I've never done it.
Yeah.
I can get you passes.
Okay, well that's easy.
That's easy.
Yeah. All right. I think
I'll just have to. You just got to tell me yes, and then I have to turn the name within a certain. I don't know when the cutoff is. It's probably not for a while yet, but.
All right. Cool.
So what have you been up to, mate?
Yeah, man, about you?
parts as well. So I think since last time, I've been I've been continuing to just finalize that preamp, and by finalize I just mean basically testing, making sure that, you know, every little bug I can iron out I have. And then it's been getting the parts. So like in terms of, because they're all custom enclosures, like everything's got to be fabricated from scratch, right? All that stuff. So that's all underway and now starting to arrive. So I'm about to go into the build phase of all of that. And then in the meantime, I just had a bunch of mods here to get through, which has been cool. It's been fun. I actually gutted a Marshall. So you're talking before, Dan or Dave, about, or Shay even, about, you know, like there's a point where you take, if you get an amp that's come in, that's already been modded maybe 20 something years ago, which is what the case was with this one, and the amp didn't even work. Like you turn it on and there was just buzz. I ended
there's
up
a price for servicing and there's a price for modding.
Yeah.
So there's the service amount that goes tax onto the bill on top of
this
the
was
mod.
I actually got a, like, while you were chatting, I just got this photo up on my screen, so I'm going to show it to everybody, because I reckon the picture tells a what is it, 1,000 words or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. There we go.
Oh
yeah.
Okay.
That's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, just throw that out.
Yeah. This is me cutting it out.
The fun is taking that shit out. You just start clipping and you know, or desoldering or whatever, or both, and then once you get it out, you're like,
you know,
okay.
I kind of looked at it, you know, you flip the amp up. The guy, the owner, hey Mark, if you're listening to this, he'd sent me some photos of the amp beforehand, and I was very reluctant. I was like, "Nah, man, I'm not doing it." And then I'm not doing it, man. And then like 3 months later, he's like, "Oh, you know,
Come on, please.
please, you know, like, I really, you know, man, if you've got, you know, no hurry." So I took the amp and it sat on my kind of storage shelf out in the garage for about 4 months, and then I finally like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna fucking do this thing. So I got it out, and I'd completely forgotten. Like, I had no memory of the photos I had seen, you know, because I had the amp just sitting there for so long. Got it out of the head shelf, flipped it over, and just went, oh no, oh my god. So you look
more coffee.
You should just take, you know, once this is all out, you take a part of your Evolve board of something, Marshall Evolve board, and then just chop it off. The phase
man,
and install.
Yeah, that's what you just said, Dave. I mean, you look at that amp right
Yeah.
there. That's exactly what they did. They just chopped it right
I'll
off
show
the
you.
table.
I'll see if I can find another picture here, because I did it. Because that was the thing, man. I sat there and looked at the bench, and I'm like,
Or you could just gut the whole thing and put a whole new board in.
I was gonna think, well, do I just gut the whole board? And then I thought, nah, man, I'm gonna keep the I decided to keep the ST1, what was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like keep the actual let me just bring this up. I decided to keep what was left of there. So the phase inverter, the bias circuit, and the entry to the PI was kind of there, you know. So
Yeah.
I thought I'll just use that, and then I'll just bring in, and here we go. Just to give you a glimpse of how it ended up. Okay, we'll remove that.
Got the Cult rehearsing across the street right now.
Oh wow!
Oh, cool.
That's
I literally can hear it inside the shop.
Nice.
Oh, look at that.
There you
yeah. That's how we ended up.
Shielded wire.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of shielded wire in there, man. It's dead quiet though. So that tube socket, you can see the extra V1 slapped right in the middle of the chassis there.
Yeah.
And I
What
got
circuit did you put
those,
in it?
using those tag strip boards. It's 3 stages in the bottom input, 4 stages in the high. It's pre-tone. It's a pre-tone stack, so you can see.
Lovely.
You can see
master. Okay.
Yeah, if you look at there's a CTS pot.
That's a lot of gain if you're having yet another tube.
Yeah. I know this guy. I know.
So you're doing the whole clipping, and then you're adding yet another stage on top. Woohoo!
Yeah,
party.
Yeah,
nice.
So you keep it pretty skinny in the front, like it's keeping the gain and the bass under control early on.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just once it's quite once you know you've got your plan and you just set about doing this, I find it quite relaxing. You just kind of get into the zone. Yeah, but it was she was a long way from that result to what I started with. Was, man, I don't know.
The fun part is when you do 50 watt Marshalls, smaller chassis, 50 watts, but in a large head shell, and there's no room really to put other tubes.
I know,
but you want to put another tube in those head shells. I'd put the tube on the side of the chassis, sticking out, because there's room in the head shell, right? You can put tube on the side sticking out. It works great, and it stays out of the way, and it's far away from everything, and it works fine.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit lower noise as well, rather than cramming another tube in between.
Or causing oscillation or something from they're so close and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Or even like, for example, there was one of those 50 watt that are in the big head shell, the small chassis that I did a little while ago, that had the same thing that was in the Lynch amp. So like kind of like a tube loop and just kind of optimized. And I moved the input tube to the side of the chassis.
Right.
I moved the cathode follower tube to the original input
and then put
tube,
the loop.
And then put the loop there, and then it's perfect because the spacing is literally the same spacing as the speaker jacks. So you've got like 4 jacks all in a row. Perfect, and it all fits great. Everything's all like where it needs to be.
Yeah,
there's no wires that are crisscrossing over each other, which is the worst. So works great doing that.
For sure.
Yeah. Hey,
I've seen Mark Cameron do stuff before where he'll add another channel, and then on the 50 watt on the side where I said I put the tube, he'd put controls.
Oh shit!
And I'm like, what? Really?
You know what? I saw 1 years ago. I remember Mike Fortin showed it to me years and years ago, and I've got a feeling it was by, I'm not sure if the guy's Canadian, a guy called Bob Wojcik.
Never heard.
Okay.
You're right. And anyway, he had like the mod involved like a whole extra bunch of controls.
Yeah.
And this guy had put the circuit inside a Hammond box with the controls on big standoffs off the outside of the chassis, so that when the back panel of the head shell is off, you just reach behind, just turn the controls, like in the additional panel.
Right.
And everything was run down like a cable snake, like back into the chassis and everything. It was really cool the way it was done. I mean, it was a little bit kind of chaos inside, but still, like there was like a whole filter circuit and all this kind of cool stuff. And yeah, it was just, I'd never seen anyone do it like that.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's really creative though, like the way it was done.
This is like he's put a whole extra chassis on.
Yeah.
Into the.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's it's
it's like adding. It's like when Mark Sampson used to add a top boost circuit to a vintage Vox, right?
Right.
He would use a little, instead of the plate that mounts in the back. You've seen the little plate that goes through the the back panel and everything. He'd mount a Hammond box below and attach it to the chassis, and then put the tube in the Hammond box and run the wires and put the 2 controls in the Hammond box, so it sat right below the back panel. I have an amp like that. And it's actually quite cool.
Yeah.
Conversion.
It can be done quite nice. It can be done nicely.
I did the side tube thing. So Dan, you might remember I asked you, right? Because I had a 997X here, and I'd seen I'd seen, I think Dave, maybe you or Dan,
Mm.
all of you guys, right? I think I've either asked you or I've seen
done it
photos.
a bunch over the years.
Yeah, I'd seen photos on the net of mods on the thing, and I was like, and I knew
I got it from Dave.
Yeah,
I've done a bunch.
Yeah,
I got the idea
doing it
from Dave.
before me.
I reckon that was where I'd
I
seen
guess
it.
I'm the OG here on that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, let's be honest.
You're the trailblazer on this, man. And I'd
Yeah.
seen this before, and so I think I messaged you, Dan. I said, man, do you put the tube on the side on the 87X? And you're like, hell yeah, do that.
Works good.
Yeah.
Works really good.
It's all good. It's the only tricky thing with the 87X though is you've got the loop board in there that gets in the way.
Yeah.
And you've got to kind of then go closer towards the middle of the side.
Yeah, you do, man.
Yeah. So you don't really have as much real estate to work with. And the other thing with those as well is that I found that kind of works well if you're going to put some shielding in around that loop.
Well, the other thing is they used a regular wire in and out of the loop.
Yeah,
just a regular wire, no shielded anything, and it goes under the board right next to the cathode follower, and you're like, I wonder why it bleeds
all the way there and all the way back.
Yeah,
with regular wire.
So it's worse. It's worse at high volumes as well because you're like on those amps. Typically, the master volume's stuck before the loop.
Yeah.
And it kind of doesn't really work so good if you convert that and you move the master to after the loop. I tried it on a few.
No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't really work good with that loop.
There's too much level.
Yeah.
You would have to reduce the level a little more going into the loop because the protection diodes that they have in there will like limit essentially, and then it sounds like shit. So exactly. I just leave it after. If I'm leaving it in, it's just after.
Exactly.
It just has to be after.
But so it's worse when you get the volume right up because then finally you're getting a hot signal in that direction, and then you get more of that coupling between the loop and the V1 tube. That's where it seems to interact the worst. So I think in some of those I've ended up actually putting a physical, like I've made a shield plate that I've put in there. I do that like pretty much any time I do a loop though. I stick a big shield between that and the input if it's down the end. Just to avoid some of that coupling. But
that's when you take, I always like when you're finding that the bleed, I take a metal ruler and I clip lead it to the chassis.
Great idea.
So it's a shield, right?
Yeah.
And you take the metal ruler, and as the amp, you're smacking the guitar next to you, you're hearing the bleed, and you're moving the metal ruler in spots, and you're finding exactly where it's bleeding because then you're hearing it. It's acting as a shield, and you're hearing it, and that's invaluable to figure it out.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm putting the shield right there.
I've seen you. I saw you do this, man. The first time I visited you in your shop right there.
Yeah.
You did that. You did it with my amp, actually. And I've actually done it a bunch of times since then. But I always chicken out because it's like, fucking metal holding.
Yes.
Well, you're holding
it just
metal.
It just feels like, what am I doing sticking metal into a line?
Yeah.
If you really want to be safe, just put on a rubber glove or something, and then you're fine.
You know what? Like I've been doing the same thing since the beginning with that, and I've got like a piece of, like, it's basically a piece of aluminium that's the size of a credit card, and I just you can't solder to it, so I've just like I stuck like a star washer and a nut through it, and soldered like a lock washer onto it.
Yeah.
With an alligator clip on a wire, so I could just clip the wire to any ground point in the circuit, and I'm just sitting there like it's also insulated because I wrapped it up in tape, and then that way you can poke around with it. But it's just invaluable to do that kind of stuff because there are kind of areas where it's going to be really, really awkward to try and put a shield in an amp, and you are probably going to find a couple of places that you're not going to be able to put one in, but if you find like the worst part of it and you at least shield around that area, it goes a long way in helping the tone.
You don't always get rid of it all. It's about how low you can get it down. And if
Isn't
it's
it interesting? Like
down really low, you're
tone.
okay.
Yeah, and it can really change the tone, and it's strange though also because if you there are some amps where a little bit of that coupling is just what you need.
If any of you guys are working on your amps and you're scared or something, you can just buy some neoprene rubber gloves, right?
Yeah.
And at least which you can feel your hands, and you can feel, just like surgical glove kind of thing. And you're not gonna, as long as there's not a hole in the damn glove, you're not gonna get shocked,
Yeah.
So that's a nice safety thing you can do.
Yeah, it's never a bad idea to play
of course,
a little bit safer.
I never do that.
I
did
it.
But then again, I also get shocked from time to time because I'm an idiot.
I still get shocked every now and then, and it's like it always takes me by surprise when it happens.
Like, what did I touch? God damn it!
It's always a good wake up call, man. You go,
Yes, really not fun when you touch like a filter cap that doesn't have a bleeder resistor on it or something.
Especially at 240 volts.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, or if you
have it easy, Shay.
Yeah, you guys have got it really easy. I was gonna say
it's like 3 cups of coffee, man. You get shocked and you're like, damn, I just drank 3 cups of coffee. Don't need any more coffee for the day.
Yeah. It's even worse if you do what I've done a couple of times where you're working a little bit too late at night, and you kind of should have already packed up about 2 hours before, and you go to drain a filter cap in a hurry and you forget that you left the wall plugged in,
Whoops.
Whoops. Yeah. You get like a screwdriver soldered to the chassis, like welded to it.
Yeah.
I've still got one that's got this, like, it looks like a snake bite on it. Like, it's just completely carved out from where it was, like, just burnt from 240 going through it.
Yeah.
Happens,
This is always the thing where you end up tripping one of the circuits in the house.
Well, yeah, exactly. When that happened, the whole house went pitch black. It was like 2 a.m. when it happened, which is even worse,
My Variac blows first.
Yeah.
So when I do that, there's obviously other family members in the house. Dad or Jason.
Are you alive? Dad, are you alive?
Yeah, they don't care about that. They don't ask that.
No. All they care about is that freaking internet went off. That's
sorry.
What's happened with the internet? Yeah. Don't worry, I'm still alive. I don't care about that.
No, they don't give a shit.
No.
The TV stopped working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
All right, I'm gonna. There's a couple of super chats here that we actually still need to get to our freaking topic.
Oh yeah.
We'll get there.
We will get there.
Hey, what are we all drinking?
Ahead, right?
What are we drinking? I know Jason's drinking coffee.
I had coffee. Yeah. What are you drinking, Dan?
Jim Beam, huh?
Double oak.
So
and
I
have
have
a Coke Zero because I'm trying to be extra healthy. While throwing it across the room.
We have let's see. It's from Lawless Brewing Company, which is walking distance from my shop. And it's Post Malone Feist beer for Oktoberfest.
Ooh.
All right. So it's a German malty lager. Very good.
Malty goodness.
But the crazy thing is, there's a brewery, walking distance just across the way here. We didn't go there, did we, Jason?
Yeah. Well, you took me there.
Oh, we did that.
Yeah, that's cool. That plus.
Yeah.
No surprise on me. Golf beers.
Golf beers. I don't know if I call that beer, but okay. I'm always going to go into the fact that that's not a beer.
Don't you like occasionally
look? Okay.
Stop drinking water.
What is this panel 9? Okay. I'm going to get beer shamed every time we do this.
Absolutely.
That's fine. And that's fine. That's fine. I have no shame in it. I love my golf beer.
Don't you occasionally want a different type, like just
or something with flavor?
Oh, it's good.
Well, Guinness. You go Guinness, right?
Yeah, I like Guinness.
All right. Well, then there you go. That's redeeming if you drink Guinness in the air.
Yeah. I can't do the Guinness.
No?
Oh man, Guinness is good.
Why not? You're in the UK.
I know, it just doesn't sit good with me.
Like blasphemy, man.
Although last time I was in the UK, it was like full of like IPAs, and I was like really like, I'm like, this isn't right.
Yeah, it's just hipster beer everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's not right.
Everything's IPAs, and you know,
I want Guinness or Bass Ale or
hazy
something.
ales
Or
and shit. Yeah, no, I just stick to the whiskey where possible. I like beer, but I much prefer whiskey.
The English pubs where they're storing it down in the cellar, and it's just at cellar temperature, and they just
pour it
up, right?
Oh,
the bitters or whatever.
I like the pubs. I like the pubs in Germany.
Yeah.
The pubs in Germany are awesome because generally speaking, like at least in some areas of Germany, it's their own beer. You don't know it's their own, especially if you're in like somewhere like Bamberg, Germany, or something where I was once. And it's like every pub you go into, it's like a different same 3 styles of beer, but you know, like a Kolsch and something darker, and then something a lager or Pilsner or something. And it's like, what do you want? And they just Pilsner, Kolsch, or like Kolsch.
It's the way.
Unless you're in Bamberg and there's smoked beer.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
so smoked beer is an interesting story.
I don't know if I like that.
Okay, so it's sort of like eating a ham sandwich while drinking beer. It's kind of odd. So the story goes, there's one pub that used to, they brewed their own beer, and this is back in like 1700s or 1800s or something. And there was a fire at the brewery. And so there was a bunch of smoke damage to all these hops and barley and stuff that they had. There's a bunch of smoke damage. And they're like, well, we don't want to throw these out. So they made beer out of it, and it came out as tasting like smoked beer. And it still exists today. There's still a famous bar in Bamberg that serves smoked beer. It's an interesting taste.
Sounds funky.
It sounds. I would try it.
After a few of them, you don't even care what you're drinking, but it's interesting. It's fun.
What
cobblestone streets, and half the houses and everything that are still there from 1700 and something, they're all like kind of crooked. You're walking, you're just looking at the buildings, and they're all like, that one might fall down. But no, it's been that way since 1700.
Yeah.
What I actually tried last night. Well, I tried this last night. I actually got some on the after having tried it at Simon Hosford's place. But it's this Tennessee whiskey, but it's peanut butter infused.
Oh, I know about this.
Have you heard of this thing?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
You heard this
Not
stuff?
tried it.
Oh my god!
I've had some.
What's it like?
Amazing.
Really?
Like it's sweet. Like you just have it's you just kind of have in a shot glass, whatever, and it's not. You just kind of sip it rather than, it's not like tequila or whatever where you slam it back, although you could. Man, it's really nice, man.
I'll have to get some.
Absolutely get it.
Yeah.
Just
I got loads of other flavored whiskeys and stuff. Like they do like the cherry, the apple, and the maple one, and all those kind of ones. They're all good.
Yeah, if you
like
kind of like that
sickly,
stuff,
they're good.
It's got that little bit of that kind of smoky. This is what reminded me of it when Dave said about the smoky beer. It's kind of got a little bit of that smoky kind of vibe about it, but it's really sweet. And it's the peanut butter thing is just, it's a really interesting blend because you can taste that in that, but it's not
overwhelming.
No, man,
it's kind of like there's some beers that I've had before in Michigan that do like have a coffee thing to them. They have you say coffee, but it's not like coffee in your beer. The aroma and sort of like hint of coffee is in the beer. It's like just a light, and it's really good. Similar kind of idea.
I've had a couple of those like chocolate porter, type beers, where it's like really.
Oh, you got to go down to
they're heavy, but they're
Denmark Street. There's a pub off Denmark Street, which of course I don't know the name of the pub, but it's the original home of Samuel Smith beer, and they serve it on tap there. And so we get Samuel Smith's beer here in bottles. But someone took me there. Our old repair guy took me there, and he's like, and I'm like, I know this beer. Shit, this is the place.
Yeah.
But I've never had it on tap because it doesn't exist here on tap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Chocolate. There's
Good
chocolate
shit.
stout and like
yeah. That's
Addie
it. It's
Porter.
like the stouts are usually the ones with the dark flavors in, like coffee stout and other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Killer.
All right. Anyway.
All right.
Beer talk's over.
Back on to again.
Liquor talk.
We
got
cover all
the
important topics here today. All right, I'm gonna shout out to Dave. Hey, thanks, man.
What's up, buddy?
Good to see you here again.
Hey, mate.
Hey, Dave.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it, dude. Mood Systems, $50 super chat, man. Thank you so much. Finally able to catch you guys live. Just want to give a massive thanks to you all for the mounds of inspiration from a builder's perspective. Just completed my first amp project, a 50-watt Plexi with Synergy, F&T, and Panasonic caps, Haybors and PS Vane EHEL34s.
I think it's just
Good shit.
EL34s, but
Yeah.
PSV and preamp tubes, maybe. And
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Good
man,
job,
that would
man.
be- yeah, nice job.
Fantastic. Yeah, good choice of parts.
Yeah, always good.
Yeah. So we do have another super chat from Basil, and I will get to that, dude. Don't you worry. But that's a question. So I'm going to go to this, our special topic first, and I'm going to put that in the chat. So I put a post up on YouTube 4 or 5 days ago asking for ideas. And this one that came in, I've just put it in the chat, was one that we had on our list anyway. So we all decided that we would give it a go. Here's the question. Filtering in amps. Okay, as a topic, big one. Choke versus no choke and the effects of filtering on playing feel and responsiveness, and also our preferred values.
We should start with actually what that does, like what a choke does.
Right? Yeah. Do people even know what filtering is?
Yeah, that's a good question. The funny thing is, I don't know if I've modded amps that had no choke, and I have some amps that don't have chokes, but they have a resistor. Obviously, you put a resistor in place of a choke.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever actually, and I kind of want to now after we started discussing this, put a switch where I could switch between a choke or a resistor and just listen to what it does. I don't think I've ever actually done that.
Yeah.
Although I would be interested in what that.
I've never done that either.
I've done it. I've added a choke to an amp, a DSL 100. One of the new ones, DSL 100H or whatever it was, and I recorded it before, and then with a looper, so it was literally the same riff, and then recorded it after, and then obviously played it as well, right? Because but that was kind of from memory. The playing thing is like you got to rely on your memory of the experience of playing.
Yeah.
It definitely changed the feel of the amp.
Definitely
I
does.
don't know if it changed the tone too much, but
it's
it felt
more of
different.
it is more of like a feel thing, I think, because I think there's a little bit more efficiency in an actual choke than there is in a resistor.
Well, choke's an inductor, right? Pretty much acting like in the circuit, it's after rectification and ties back into the screen supply. And so basically what it's doing is stabilizing, filtering the circuit under load, and kind of just keeping everything so it doesn't all fall to pieces.
Yeah.
But if you
the resistor is doing the same thing.
Yes, but say you say a 3 Henry choke, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then how you find how you find the value to get to that resistor to kind of drop the voltage and stabilize that thing. There's like a calculation you do for, you know, what if you want a 3 Henry or a 5 or a 10. There's like some Ohm's law calculation that you find that with. But I always thought it was strange because sometimes it's really hard to tell if either the resistor or the choke they're pretty close sometimes. And you know, I've always
it depends on how loud you run the amp too, right? Because a resistive choke, you'll get more voltage drop across that when you run the amp.
Yeah.
And also it's going to depend on, I was going to say, it's also going to depend on the cap that follows after the choke, the value of that cap as well. That also changes things. So, you know, if you've got like a large value cap there, or if you've got a small value cap immediately after the choke, that's gonna also change things as well. So I suppose it's probably, if we look at it from a standard point of view, if we look at like with like 50 UF kind of everywhere, I guess that's probably like a good place to start with it. Like if someone wants to play around with perhaps choke values or resistor values, start with perhaps like a standard filtering style, you know, that's not already kind of, you know, messed with too much. And it's probably an easier place to start with if you want to actually experiment and hear the differences, I would say, because then you're not hearing too much of already what like low filtering somewhere else is going to be doing to the circuit.
Yeah.
Do you think that so the amps that have come out with no chokes, and these are, you know, there's amps out there with no chokes that are kind of, you know, high end, right?
Yeah.
Ish, you know, like a 5150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we think that was done through cost considerations, or because they were, you know, the designer was going for a tonal, something to do with that from a tonal?
I'll bet money it's cost.
I would also agree with that. Unless it's like a high end amp that's using it, and they're not really caring too much about the cost of the choke in there because they're covering it tenfold. You know, like for example, Cornford, they didn't use chokes in like any of their amps. I don't think they had the resistor as a, you know, essentially, you know, in the spot where the choke was, in all their amps. And I mean, they were not exactly cheap. They weren't cheap amps, and I don't think they were cutting corners there.
No, I don't think so either.
No, I think that was a personal preference. No, knowing how like Martin at Cornford is really like, he's a player. He's not just he's not an electronics guy. I think he started out actually as a guitarist.
He's a good guitar player, man. He's a great
exactly. And you know, I think probably in their case, I think that was a genuine choice because of perhaps the feel that he liked. Because I think it's I don't know, in my experience, most of the time when I've gone from a resistor and then switched out to a choke, because it's usually the way it goes. Usually someone's got an amp where it's got the resistor instead of the choke, and they want to get like a tighter tone. They want a bit more clarity, a bit more sort of efficiency at high volume. And I always think that when you get like, say, anything from I'll typically use values from like 3 Henry, 7 Henry. I usually use the Hammond, the big ones, you know, the 500 volt chokes. And I usually find that straight away the tone is clearer. It's also punchier, and it doesn't kind of sag. At least when I'm saying sag, it may not actually be actual sag, but it doesn't feel as loose as it felt before.
But you do get sag. I mean, as I said before, it depends on how loud you're running that amp.
Absolutely.
But you get way more voltage drop across a fixed resistor than you do a choke, you know.
Yeah, you do.
The DC resistance on a choke is pretty low.
Yeah, it's like,
I
think on some of those 100
ohms.
ohms. Yeah, less than 100 ohms.
You can measure it, right? 100 ohms. And then whereas you'll normally see a choke resistor of like 270 or 300 or something like that. So
yeah, some amps have got like 470, like 470 ohms.
400.
Like that,
it's all about that voltage drop.
there's a fairly hefty drop there, and I mean that does come at a cost of clarity when you start.
And it's
the
filtering properties of a choke are better too, right? So you get
you
have a look at how much ripple you have on the B+ line after a choke at the screen node, right? It's fucking gone. By that stage, it is already. You know, you don't need. I mean, and these, you obviously need to make sure that as you go down the B+ line, the filtering gets better and better and better, right? Otherwise, that noise will come into the amplifier.
Yeah.
And any noise that's still on the mains node will be cancelled out, right? Through common node cancellation. So, but by the time if you have noise on the screen node, you'll hear it.
Oh yeah.
You'll hear the hum in the amp. So.
I was kind of looking like the values of some and like where, like in the PV stuff, for instance, like where they got the values and stuff. And it's like, so it started with the Butcher. There was no choke in the Butcher, and it was a 400 ohm, 10 watt resistor.
Okay, there you go.
With 510 volts.
Yeah, that's pretty beefy.
Yeah. Pretty beefy in the power supply. And other than that, it's pretty much a Marshall.
So Dave, does that tell us that when was it James Brown? I guess was it when James Brown said about creating the OG 5150 based on?
I think he started with what PV had, because you look at where Ed started, right? And it was, a Soldano SLO 100 that has a choke. And before that, it's a Marshall and that has a choke. So honestly, I think it was like, hey, let's start here with a Butcher or something, and which also has 6L6s and similar architecture, probably similar transformers. And let's start there and go from there. Butchers are actually cool amps.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a JCM 800.
One. Yeah.
It's a JCM. Yeah, you wouldn't probably there, but it's a JCM 800 with a terrible. Wait, does this have a loop? No, it doesn't have a loop, does it? That's the VTM.
Yeah, VTM.
Or maybe it does have a loop. Wait a minute. I'm looking at the schematic right now. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, basically, it's a JCM 800 front amp, pretty much exactly.
Yeah.
Except the phase inverter values are slightly different. They don't use 1 megs; they use 470Ks.
Yeah.
And the presence is a bit different.
Yeah, it's a little bit tighter power section in.
But for the most part, you look at it and you're like, oh yeah. It did an interesting thing with the booster output circuit in that amp. There's a booster jack. Booster output. What is that supposed to mean? Hold on a second here. I'm just looking at the schematic in real time.
Is it like a slave out or something?
Well, I think it might be
the Butcher.
Yeah.
Now
hey, while you're looking at that, I'm going to pop in for a second. So as far as like the preferred values of chokes, so the early Marshall non-master volumes, they had 3 Henrys.
Yep.
And then that's pretty much the lower you go, you're going to get more sag and a little bit more compression. So the JCM 800s had 5 Henrys. It's kind of hard to tell between those two values if there's too much of a difference. But once you get up to 10, like for me, it's extremely noticeable. With a 10 Henry, I mean, it's stiff. The response is extremely flatlined. It's not bouncy at all.
I agree.
Yeah. So, it's all about, what you want to do in the kitchen with all that stuff, because you can change tons of other stuff that way. Change cathodes to be more bassier and then change the choke to be more tighter.
Yeah.
You can
Did you ever see the years ago Hammond brought out the guitar series transformer sets, right? For like JCM 800s, JMPs, Fenders, all kind of other stuff. And they had like a mains transformer, an output transformer, and a choke that was part of the set.
Was it a variable choke?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't variable, but it's interesting though because the choke they made that was specified for the JCM 800 was like a 50 Henry choke.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and if you put one of those in an amp, I tell you, you'll know about it. 50 Henrys. I mean, Jesus Christ.
What did it sound like, man? What did
the wave is like this, just flat.
Man, I mean, it's filtered. I mean, there's no ripple after that fucker.
No, God, no.
Man, it's overkill. It's really just too much. But I mean, perhaps if you then gained the fuck out of the circuit, and really made it like really kind of loose, perhaps that would kind of offset some of the. You could perhaps have like a really bouncy preamp section, but the power section just stays tight as a duck's ass. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Man, those are the properties of the inductor that it actually, man, it contributes a lot to the feel.
Yeah.
I think the other thing about filtering, right? We should talk a little bit about screen node filtering. I think that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then maybe in the preamp as well. But so you think about especially the transition that Marshall made with the super leads in the 60s and then into the 70s. We definitely saw that transition, right? So Dave, the late 60s stuff was 232s in series.
Yeah.
Like
on
16,
the screen.
16 total, right?
That's
16
light
local on the screens.
on
Nothing,
on the
right?
Van Halen plexi kind of thing. Here's an interesting thing that I've noticed with the screen. So if you change, let's say you got a plexi circuit and you change the screen voltage, or the screen filtering.
Yeah.
From, shall we say 50 down, which it was later in 1969, basically, from 50 down to 15. You would think the 50 would actually be tighter. But in reality, the bass frequencies kind of fall away a little bit with the 15. So there's not as much bass, which in turn sounds tighter.
There's a bit more top as well.
There might be a bit more top. There's a bit more compression too, for sure.
Yeah. But the top doesn't get so rolled, But
like there's a definitive difference when you're listening to say like a plexi circuit with those two things. I mean, for me, I like the 15s in there for a plexi style thing. If I'm going for that original lay down transformer plexi thing, but a lot of things have to be right to get that right.
Yeah.
You also need a B plus, like those amps, the B plus, at least in the US, because 50 hertz changes things. In the US, it's like 460, 465, 466, somewhere like that on those 68 lay down transformer plexis, almost always, maybe 470 max. And that's a critical thing for that tone also. Like if you're talking about the Ed plexi, it's you have to have that voltage to get that sound just right. You can get a great sound, but to get it just right, you need slightly saggier on the B plus and slightly and you need the lower filtering, and there's a whole feel thing to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. What about increasing the mains filter? So
yeah,
there's that. A lot of people do that.
Yeah. I mean that one. I mean, you're gonna get a feel difference there for sure. It is gonna get stiffer, but then there's tons of amps that have got like over 200 microfarad filtering on the mains, and it's still exactly. I mean the
2 or 330s in series.
Yeah. I mean Mesa Boogie Mark series has got 220 microfarad you know, on the mains.
Or Soldano,
I mean,
for instance.
Yeah, Soldano, and
Had massive.
like in the case of the boogie doesn't feel stiff.
Right.
It's not stiff. I mean, it's crazy easy to play. It doesn't feel stiff, but it does sound really bold. I think you get like a bit of a wider sound stage with that high filtering in the mains.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the screens is where you can dial in the feel much better.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree, man.
And I also
100%.
think if you start getting high up on the mains, if you're not careful, if you go too high, yeah, you can make it too stiff. But the weird thing is, for me, it's not the stiffness that becomes the problem. It's that it starts to sound too polished.
Well, if you increase the filtering
thing.
too much in general, there were some mods that used to exist. Like, I mean, Lee Jackson would do it sometimes and stuff, where he'd increase the mains filter caps to I forgot some crazy value where it was. They might have been 470 microfarad caps or something, and in series. Then so it was like some insane, massive.
I've seen this on some of the camera
filter cap.
Didn't Jose do that too?
No, never.
Sir did it. John Sir did it loads in the early 90s because Doug's amp has got I think 800 microfarad filter caps in it or something.
These are the biggest can caps you've ever seen.
They are like this, and they don't even fit the normal
Yeah.
They're massive.
Why?
I mean,
Just why?
Well, what winds up happening is the amp to me then sounds dead.
Yeah.
It has no.
It's just like this.
It's just dead. It's like it's there. It's stiff. It's whatever, but it sounds kind of loose still. It surprisingly sounds loose. Like there's a lot of bass, and it sounds just dead though. Like there's no life. Like there's no sustain. There's no nothing in it. It's filtered to death. It's like it's like the sound of a dead room, like a totally dead room.
Yeah,
sounds awful.
Loses character.
Yeah, it's sort of it kind of over polishes everything. You lose a lot of the character, and you definitely lose any grit that the amp had.
I think Soldanos have too much filtering. I think, actually, to be honest, because the mods he did on Marshalls and stuff where he didn't change the filtering, they were wicked sounding. Just great sounding.
I've done a couple of those over the years where I didn't bother changing the filtering, other than just left it at like the 50. The 50 microfarad mains, 50 screens, 50. I left it at like 50 on the phase inverter and stuff, and it just sounded great. It wasn't like it wasn't loose or anything like that.
No,
it's already still firm enough.
Yeah.
I think there was just maybe a tendency back at that time in history where I'm not even sure if maybe it came from a hi-fi perspective. Maybe there were ideas where people were like, oh, okay.
Well, people complain about cone cry style, like, the octave-y stuff that can happen and stuff. If you filter it to death, there's none of that.
Yeah, I think
personally I like that.
That one, though. It's like that's like attacking the wrong part, the wrong thing for the problem, because I think you can deal with that in other ways. I
think it's interesting sounding, though. I think that's cool. I mean, I don't find that as annoying or unwanted,
character, isn't it?
It's a cool character. I think it sounds great. You hear it on recordings and like from years ago. It was a common thing.
Yeah, totally. You can hear anyone who was using absolutely cranked to the brim plexis and stuff. Like, you listen to anything that like early Uli John Roth. Oh man, it's all over that stuff like crazy. And early Yngwie, I mean, there's tons of it on the early records. Yeah. I kind of like that sort of thing, because it's like you're not trying to hide the thing that it does. Like, accept it for what it is. I mean, if you don't like it, play a different amp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What about the phase inverter cap?
I do, man.
Yeah. It's like, just have other amps. If you don't like that thing for a certain musical style, just use a different amp. But like, don't remove all the things that make it cool.
Thoughts on the phase inverter cap?
It's another interesting one, because what you were saying about the screens, about you'd think when you go lower with it that it would get looser. Again, I think with the phase inverter, the bigger you go with it, I think the more broad the bottom end sounds.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, I
and
don't
maybe
find,
tighter in some respects, or
just wider the low end, you know.
It's broad, but like in some amps it just doesn't sound good. Like I kind of, I don't know, I always try using 100 on the phase inverter like every now and then I go back to 50, and like at least like in some of my circuits I'm liking 50 more, but then there's other times I'll go lower than 50.
I tend to like 100 more.
I tend to go 100.
I like 100 on a stock 800.
Depends on the wattage.
Yeah, are you doing a 50 or 100 watt amp? I mean, we change.
True.
Yeah, true. Very true. I was going to say, like for me, 90%.
I think I like 100. I like 100 on 100 watt, and I like 50 on a 50 watt.
Yeah,
although I have tried 100 on a 50 watt, and it sounds kind of cool.
yeah.
I think it's on a per amp basis. Am I right? I mean, like so many times I'll just tack in another cap, like not even a, you know, sometimes if I want to just experiment with significantly higher or lower, I'll just, you know, mess around with it and just see which is cool. And it's kind of like at the end of the day, whatever feels good in a particular amp, okay, that's the one that wins.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Cool.
What about preamp?
Yeah, I played a bit around with the preamp stuff. I think there's a good feel opportunity there.
Yeah. What's your preference, perhaps, like, or like, let's say, like in a typical 3 or 4 gain stage modded Marshall?
I know what I've settled on.
Yeah, I like 32.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet spot. Yeah,
that's kind of what I settled on finally. I just I use that all the time in the pre.
Yeah,
I have used 16, 15, 16. That can be cool also. And then sometimes I feel 47's too much. I don't know. I think I like 33 slightly better than 47. So nowadays I just stick with 33s.
Yeah. But I like your small box though with the low preamp value.
Yeah, okay. So the small box started as a whole different thing. So it started with the filtering, well, at least basically the filtering of a JTM 45.
Yeah.
It's actually one value wrong for that, but well, it depends on what era 45. But it's 33 or 32, 32, or 33, whatever, 33, 32, same thing. 33, 33, 33, and then 16.
16, yeah. That's what I thought.
And then and there's no another, there's only one preamp cap, so that does the cathode and that. It actually is cool, and I just started that as just for fun. You know, it's like, hey, let's try this filtering but without a tube rectifier, and let's see what that sounds like. And it gives a cool feel to it. It's got a I always tell people, I go, you know, the circuit is not that different from any BE channel.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one resistor difference or something, but the filtering in the amp makes the amp sound different.
Filtering is completely different, isn't it? Really?
It sounds different and feels a bit different. And yeah, it's cool. I mean, like the thing with the low filtering in the preamp is that depending on how far downstream you're decoupling, I mean, you really don't need hardly anything once you get past the phase inverter. You don't need hardly anything at all. And I've done quite a few amps that have had like 5 gain stages, and I've gone as low as 4.7 microfarad on the preamp filters. And it sounds like it would be unusable,
and it will still work.
Yeah, it still works.
Yeah, it still works. You can go really, really far down with it.
You don't need much, right?
You don't need much, and obviously you don't need much voltage drop between the stages. So you don't need to have, you know, big drop resistors and stuff like that.
If you've already sorted it out, like if you've already sorted the B+ line out in terms of filtering that mains ripple out earlier on, then through the pre you got a lot of flexibility, I think.
Exactly. And the thing is also, depending on where you add more filtering nodes, I mean, you may do that because it just feels different or sounds a little bit different. Like you absolutely don't need to, for example, you don't need to keep decoupling the whole way down the line when you get down past the sort of the cathode follower point. But it can be a great thing for the feel. You might want to actually dial in the tone or the feel of an amp just by adding another node or something. And I've done that on a bunch of amps. And then, you know, sometimes if I've worked with a particular player and they've said to me, you know what, like, can we can we make this a bit more bouncy, or, you know, in the playing field a bit easier, a bit more, give it a bit more give. You know, sometimes you might want maybe one less filtering node, or maybe even just less filtering going on in that stage. Perhaps, you know, sometimes you can get away with sharing, you know, a node with multiple stages, and other times you just can't get away with it, and you'll know about it quickly because the stage will just oscillate like crazy.
Right.
But it's cool to play around with it, and I mean, just to see kind of what's needed and what is just, you know, just optional, just for fun. It's just another thing to try. You know, you can add that stuff into, you know, most circuits.
Yeah, well, once you get there, so what I mean, if anyone's concerned about, you know, that's how much filtering there is, you can just, it's just a low pass filter network, right? So you can actually go into the RC calculators online, and it's just like a resistor and a cap to ground as a low pass filter. And if you put in the values of a standard, like a 10K dropper and a 50 microfarad cap to ground, and you see where the cutoff point is, it's like 1 hertz or something like that. It's so low, right? So as long as it's filtering out anything below that frequency, or, you know, 2-3 hertz, whatever, it's fine. And so you can use, like, as you said, Dan, you're using 4.7 microfarad. That's still tons. It's still tons. Then it just becomes about, well, how does it sound and how does it feel, you know?
Well, that's it, because you can measure the AC down at that point and see if there is any ripple left. And I mean, I can bet you anything, by the time you get that far downstream, there's nothing. It's nothing at all. It's not even like 10 millivolts or less. You know, so I mean, you know, it can just be either just a taste thing, really, when it comes down to it. You know, if you
I think it's just one of the
feel.
It's one of the things. It's not the only thing for feel, but it's definitely one of the things. And like, just by way of example, like I know a lot of people would probably say that the Wizard amps, a lot of the Wizard amps are, you know, some people describe them as being stiff, or, you know, quite
like firm,
you know, difficult to play in your face kind of thing, right? But if you have a look at the filtering in those things, like a lot of those amplifiers, 232s in series on the screens.
Yeah, but the deal with that is the on his power transformers and stuff, they're quite kind of high current, so they don't sag the same way.
Yeah, so the current supply of the high voltage secondary is high. So the P so that's what I mean. It's like, it's all these different factors.
There's that too. That's a whole other rabbit hole.
That's a whole other rabbit hole.
So Shay, you played a bit with that, didn't you? You played a bit with that with your with the Unholy Grail development.
Yeah, I went through that one quite a bit. I was trying to figure that one out.
But it doesn't really matter if you're not pushing it that hard. So, you know, for all your bedroom players, it makes no difference whatsoever.
It's bigger than once you start pushing it hard.
Man, we need to apologize. Well, we need to kind of apologize to the chat. We're halfway through the damn show. We haven't even got over there.
No, we've answered a few things.
Our first topic pretty far.
Okay, so let's get on to the first super chat question. Now that Shay's
we were talking about, dude, we could talk about that kind of shit all day though.
Well,
like,
then we can get into voltages.
Oh,
that's a whole nother problem.
If we run out of questions, at least we can start.
We've got plenty of ammunition.
I often have wanted to put a rotary voltage switch on an amp that would change the B plus across the entire board, because it's so vastly changes everything.
Oh man,
it's kind of crazy.
Oh, you just did that with
next show, right?
We'll
no, not the power tubes, just across the board.
Okay, just like with a B plus
across the phase inverter and everything.
Okay, cool. All right, okay. Basil is asking, thanks for the super chat, brother. For each of you, the best cab you've ever heard.
Oh, this is easy for me.
I got easy. I have a vintage black back Marshall cabinet here that just sounds wicked. I mean, it's just the speakers. It's just magic. It's a really good cab. I don't even like to listen to amps through it because it's so good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's like it'll make everything just sound great. So I'd rather just, you know, I mean, my cabinets in general sound really good. Most people really dig my cabinets out there in the world too. At least the feedback that I get, you know, on them. That's mine.
The cab with no Tolex on it, Dave. Where do you rate that?
You know, the funny thing about that cabinet is I'm actually feeling that it's starting to get tired.
Oh, right.
And like some days it'll be, it sounds fuzzy or something. It's starting to get a little tired, I think, to be honest. It's a great cabinet, but the speakers might be a little, at this point, be a little fucking toast.
So those are reissue greenbacks, are they not?
They were, but from the 90s, so they've been played pretty consistently since the 90s.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because I had another cab that has a bare wood cabinet that I have here, a newer cab of mine that I have UK V30s and UK greenbacks in combo. And I listened to that cab versus the one I always use, and I'm like, I think that sounds better.
Yeah.
I'm
might
not
even just
hearing
be one of those, you know, whatever day of the week it is, might be like more for your own ears.
Exactly.
Yeah, can be.
How about you, Dan?
Well, for me, like the best sounding cab I've ever heard is one that I've still got, but it isn't actually in action at the minute because it's a I can't actually date it for sure, but I'm almost positive it's a 1969 or a 1970 basket weave cab.
Oh, nice.
And it didn't have the basket weave on it. Someone had already, you know, fucked that up completely, and it had different speakers in it for a while. It didn't have the originals. It had got some late 70s G1265s, you know, the good ones, I always call them. I can't remember the T number for them, but they're the 16 ohm lead spec ones that they sound incredible. Sadly, I don't have those speakers anymore. I don't know what got into me, and I traded them with someone for something. But anyway, I've got like 2 quads of 25 watts, 75 hertz blackbacks to use to refurb that cab. But when I took the 65s out, two of the cheesehead screws completely sheared off in the T-nut. In the baffle, and then I tried to get the T-nuts out of the baffle board, and as soon as I tried to get any movement on them or any purchase, the baffles just, you can see it wants to crack. So I'm gonna have to kind of try and maybe use some heat or use something else to get the T-nuts out. And yeah, so when I get that one back up and running, that's gonna have a quad of the late 70s blackback 25s lead spec in there, and it's going to get some it's going to get like salt and pepper grill cloth on it as well, because I just like the look of it more than the traditional basket weave. But that's the best sounding one. I mean, when I was using it, when it had the 65s, you could like give it a rap with your knuckles on the back, and the sound of it was like 100% different to any other cab. I mean, it would hurt your knuckles just to like knock on it, you know. It sounded just like hard as hell. Really, really dry. There's like just no moisture in that cabinet at all, and it just sounds incredible.
Is it like a real hollow knock?
Yeah, it's hollow, but it's not like dead sounding. It's like really percussive.
Live, like yeah.
It's like you knock on it and there's a tap tone.
Yeah.
It's not really low pitched. It's actually kind of high pitched knock when you knock on it. And it's just magic. Metal handles. It's got the little wooden corner, you know, piece in the front where the logo used to be on it. It's an angled one. It's not a flat front. It's not a straight front cab, but that one just sounded amazing. You know, the Tolex is the early kind of Tolex that they used to use. You know, it's still got like the gold. Well, it's kind of gone green. You know, the gold piping goes completely green looking after the years. Yeah, but it's just so cool. But it's like that one was easily the best cab I ever heard. So I've got to get that one refurbed. But
Oh man, you have
if
to.
it's like working, if it's working cabs like currently, then I've got a 1960 TV cab from maybe 2001 or
Oh, those are cool.
2002. Man, it sounds good. Everyone who plays through that thing, they can't believe what they're hearing. It's just like, it's just massive sounding.
Cool. Yeah, the
Yeah,
TV
it looks
cabs are cool.
Yeah, it looks cool, but it just sounds bigger than
Slant, right?
average. Yeah, it's a slanted
Yeah.
one. Yeah, and it's just
Yeah,
a
I'd
bit
like to get
taller.
one of those cabs, man.
They're
I was
really good,
thinking
especially-
about buying one of those and then duping it
Mhm.
and making it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Good fun to make.
Because is anyone like, can you actually get a new production
No.
TV cab?
No,
they don't have it.
No, they
don't make
stopped
it anymore.
it. Yeah, because the thing is, I always thought that they were the matching cab to go with the Zakk Wylde 800.
Oh yeah,
at
no.
the time, because he was using the TV cabs live.
Yeah.
And apparently not, because I saw Jason Frankhauser just got a matching full stack of the Zakk Wylde head and the cabs are not the TV cabs. So Zakk wasn't playing the matching cabs that went with the head. He was playing the TV cabs with EVs in them, obviously, but
Yeah,
my back hurts.
that's
Thinking about that one, my back hurts.
Easy to
You
do
imagine
that
how
when you
big
get other
that
people to
sounds.
move your gear.
Yeah,
It's funny.
Yeah.
I have some bunch of old EVs here too. I could put them in a cab too, and I haven't.
do it. Yeah,
I should.
Well, I know that's legal.
I have some 212s right now, but and it's funny when I listen to the 212s, I go, God, EVs are dark.
Mhm.
That's what you first think when you're listening.
They've got this kind of sound like this, like when
Covered,
you put your hand over your mouth when you talk. It's really honky. So a weird thing, but they sound really cool though.
Yeah.
They need volume.
Yes.
They need to be pushed. They're not like a low volume speaker.
Fixes.
We pushed it a little bit when we did the Deftones rig that just got out there. We had them plugged into these 212s with EVs because I'm like, well, these will take anything we could give it.
Yeah.
And we had it with a tuned down
Well,
guitar, and we're just like, it was awesome.
Yeah, they're great for aggressive tones.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, it's good to see the your Tone Merchants account.
Oh yeah, for anyone who doesn't know,
that's cool.
We finally got off our asses and started posting rigs that we have done or have currently done.
I love it, man.
And we're gonna go way far back too with them as time permits. And we're finally posting them. So we have an Instagram for Tone Merchants Rack Systems, and we have a Facebook also for Tone Merchants Rack Systems. So the rigs go on both at the same time. So yeah, you're gonna go way back in history too, because we're gonna go way far back.
Cool, man. I didn't know about that. I'll be following.
Man, it's cool.
Yeah, and I'm trying to repost them on my own personal accounts and stuff, or at least for me, it's easy just to repost it on Facebook on my personal account, but Instagram reposting doesn't exactly. It's not really for that. But I'll also repost it on Facebook. Because yes, I still use Facebook because there's so many people out there that use it still in the guitar community. Maybe everyone's just old, but that's okay.
Yeah.
There's all the groups. That's why people use Facebook, I think. And so the groups are important, and I have to monitor them still.
Yeah.
As long as we don't have to get on TikTok, it's still good.
Yeah, we're not posting the rigs on TikTok now. No. We're doing a little happy dance with the rig. Dave doing a happy dance. Fucking that'd be
That's
terrible.
what you need to make a synchronized dance in front of the rigs.
Fucking God.
Oh fuck yeah.
I mean, and my family looks at TikTok all the time, and I'm just like, I don't understand. I just don't. I'm sorry. I don't understand the entertainment of it even.
This is Shay. You said to me a long time ago. You said something like, "You're like, man, if we have to do a TikTok video to sell a fucking amp, then I'm out." I was like, "Yeah, I agree. I'm out too. That's it. It's the end.
The end of everything."
I love. I like the social media stuff is cool, but man, I'm thinking about posting on YouTube more. I spend most of my time on
yeah,
YouTube.
Yeah, there's that too.
I prefer it.
It's, you know what, wherever the
There's
people
more
are gonna,
substance. There's
wherever
more
the
substance
people are
here.
going to be, you know what I mean? It depends on what you're posting too. And then there's a whole thing, because my wife does our social media too. There's a whole thing between, you know, posting to stories and or to your page. And there's a whole, you know, if you want it to go away, it's going to go in the stories. If you want it to stick around, like the rigs, I want to stick around. So those get posted to the pages, because, you know, at least then you can scroll back and see all these things we've done.
Yeah, you got to keep
that's cool. Man. Like that's
historical. That's a historical.
And the other weird thing that I've figured out is that with posting these rigs is that Jamie, the guy that works for us, was an incredible writer, because I didn't write that shit. Sorry.
I had assumed Dina had written it, man.
No. Yeah, you would assume that. Yeah, because I can't. No way. I would have like one sentence for each rig I sent.
You just go, here's a rig.
But I never knew he wrote like that.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, how many years have you worked for me?
Yeah, some people have got a knack for
How
it.
the hell did I not know this? And then I'm like, okay, we got to use you for other things.
That's
for
cool,
copy.
Man. I can't believe you're right there.
Because I can't write copy, I can edit copy. That's what I always say. I can, you know, someone writes it, I can tell you what's wrong with it, but I can't write. I can't come up with it. It's just that's not in my DNA. Come up with a guitar circuit, but not that.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Words? What?
Shay, what's your favorite cab, man?
Oh yeah, let's cruise through this. I'll make it quick. So, gosh, I've had a lot. I've kept over the years. I've kept an orange 412 from the early 2000s, maybe 2002, that I really like a lot. And then I've got a Marshall BX, so the checkerboard cabinet that I really like a lot. They both have vintage 30s in them. But the best cabinet I've ever heard, I don't own. And Dave Hopkins owns it. And I remember it's an angled is it AV? The angled vintage cab that came with the Marshall vintage speakers.
Yeah.
It's called AV. Yeah, there's something about the speakers in this certain cabinet that he has, because I have a bunch of those speakers, but these are just really smooth.
Yeah.
They're not like abrasive at all. They just, like, everything you play through, it just sounds great. So
You've got to find what year they are.
I think it's a 96. We looked it up. I think it was mid 90s.
Oh, yeah. This is a good era for them.
It's probably well broke in, you know.
Yeah.
Those speakers are always a little weird for me, but I mean, but I understand what you're saying. They're smoother for sure.
They are, but you know what? Like the pre 2000, not just like normal vintage 30s, but also those Marshall vintage ones are also, they're different when you go further back. Like if you go back to like late 80s, early 90s, there's something in the mids with those ones from that era, like that first 10-year span. I think they're a little bit more like vocal sounding in the mids, and then somewhere along the line they get really harsh. Maybe mid 2000s further on, I've had like probably 3 quads of those things that were all really different. But we'll have to find out if there's 16 ohms or 8 ohms though. Are they all 16s?
They're 16, yeah.
They're 16s.
Oh, interesting.
But it's funny because, you know, that's an angle cabinet, and I don't even think I own. I own one angle cabinet, and I don't play it. Yeah. But I remember that, just going, man, this is the greatest cabinet I've ever played through.
You know what I'm looking for? You mentioned orange cabinet. I'd love to have an old orange cabinet again. I've had them in the past, but I'd like to have an old orange cabinet. But
70s.
I don't want to pay some stupid price for
it. They're so expensive, man. And then you got the shipping.
I'm looking for one. I'm pointing to you.
Oh, don't
you might know where one is.
I can probably find you one over here. like somewhere.
If it's cheap,
then you've got to get it to
You
you.
got to
Though.
freight it.
I know, but
Yeah.
actually freighting it might not be terrible with our freight rates and stuff that
Right.
we do.
Yeah.
Maybe
Freight rates.
Maybe it can go on a boat or something. I don't know.
I mean, they're like $2,500 here.
Yeah, you could get one less.
I'm like,
than that,
I'm sorry, I
sure.
don't want to pay that.
If you use the Great Rates thing, you can air freight a 4x12. It's not that bad.
No,
I mean, I've done it out to here, right? You can get it from Ohio to Australia with Great Rates. One 4x12, $400 to $450.
yeah.
I mean, it's not.
And if it's a
not,
good price to begin with, it's not
$50,
big of a deal.
but
or if the
if you
cabinet's
can-
empty, I'm game for that too.
Well, that's even
But
better then, because I was
absolutely.
going to say it's going to
Yeah.
cost less. The weight's going to be even less.
If you can buy the cab at a decent price, there you go.
And
right?
beat to hell, I'm into also.
Yep.
Yeah, well, just
A shit
shoot
one.
me an email with all the info
Yeah.
with it, and I'll look out for one. I'll find you one.
I mean, basically an old orange cabinet, 70s orange cabinet that it could be beat to hell.
Cool.
I don't want it painted. I want it still
No.
orange, but it can be ripped up and torn up and whatever. That's cooler to me. So, and it doesn't have to have speakers. So
It's funny that they did used to paint those black. I've seen.
I know,
quite a
that's
bit
why I
of
said
painted
that.
A
black.
lot of times,
they're fucking terrible. This is like,
What's the feeling on like high watt cabs with you guys?
those are cool too,
I've got
I've
one
had
of those.
with cast frame fanes.
Yeah, I haven't
That
got the,
cabinet
I haven't got
is
the
great.
frames in it, but I've got an original one. That's it's a big fucking hefty thing.
George Lynch had a high watt cabinet with cast frame fanes in it.
Yeah.
And that's what he used to use with his Plexi.
Wow.
And that combination, and he'd also use a GE10 in front of the Plexi.
Mhm.
And that combination sounded so epic.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to explain how epic it sounded.
Yeah. I
Of
wish I
course
had the original.
Of course, then he
original
changed.
speakers for it.
Of course, then he sold that and sold this and sold that. So he probably sold a cabinet.
Yeah.
He never holds on to anything.
No.
Jason, what about you? What's
What's your favorite cab?
What you got? Best cab you've
that
heard?
one there.
Marshall one back there?
That one there, yeah.
What's the deal with it?
It's an 80s cabinet, but it's got the 90s reissue greenbacks in it.
Ah, there you go.
Same
Very
ones that
cool.
has got it, yeah. And it's got new grill cloth on it, right? It got recovered, I don't know, maybe 10 so years ago. It's checkerboard on there at the moment, so it looks like a BX cab. It's a straight front cab, but that's kind of been the go-to. I mean, I really like, I like cabs with V30s in them as well, right? But in terms of like getting that Marshall tone through a greenback cab, that's definitely it. And I've used that. I've had that cab for, I mean, I haven't owned it since new, obviously, but I've had it for probably 10 years or so.
Yeah.
I've gigged with it. I've voiced amps with it. It's just kind of like the golden reference tone for me.
Great.
Oh,
Very cool.
Yeah. Shay, what's that other cab? I know in your workshop, right, you have that orange cab that you just mentioned. That's that one. But you always run those two 4x12s together as an
yeah, the other one. That
What's the
purple
other
one
cab?
is so my first head shell manufacturer was Casey at Guitar Cabs Direct, and he made me that. It's just a Marshall copy, and I put those Marshall vintage speakers in there, and it sounds great. It sounds perfect. So
those are the okay. So
I'd
that's
put
what
that up there too.
those Marshall vintage speakers are in that
Yeah.
cab. Yeah, okay.
I've got
Shay,
them in
did you
everything.
ever have a cab that had a G12H30s in it?
Yes, I have one now. I have
Old ones?
Yes, I've got a bunch of cabinets. I got them in storage. I've got some 70s JMP cabs,
Yeah.
and one of them does have G12H30s.
Those are
and
cool.
then I have another set of, I got some G12M blackbacks that I haven't had. I don't have them in a cab. But yeah, I mean, years ago I went down that speaker rabbit hole, and it's just like you want to test them all, you know?
Yeah,
super fun.
You got to try G1280 cab, an original one, not classic lead 80s, but G1280s.
No, the originals.
Yeah,
G12
I've got
original
one in
80s
this cab under here, G1280s. Yeah, and you want to get the ones with the 444 cone.
Okay.
Or if you can get the ones that have got the low resonance cone, it's instead of a 55 hertz cone, it's a 45 hertz cone. That's what I've got in this cab. And they're weird. You would think that they wouldn't sound good. They sound absolutely angry as fuck. Like they're so aggressive. They got a really hairy top end. The bottom end isn't loose. It's not too squishy or anything. But it's like the bottom end is almost like a greenback bottom end.
Cool.
It's cool. Really nice. Yeah. You can find them if you look for the late 70s or early 80s bass cabinets.
Let's see. I have 65s in that cabinet I'm pointing to.
Yeah, those are cool, man.
I've never played 65s.
And old ones.
Yeah.
Lead spec, old ones. And then the other cabinet is the blackback cab. If you run them together, it's fucking epically great.
Yeah, 100%. It's
I mean,
really
like
cool, right?
both together, you're just like, oh yeah.
There's
two 4x12 side by side is just as hard.
Yeah, but the speaker blend makes it just sound huge, you know.
You have to do like I had a setup with 3 4x12s where I had one that was with G12H30 55 hertz blackbacks.
Yeah.
I had one cab that had the lead spec G1265s, and I had one cab that had the greenback reissues from like the 90s, and I ran it wet, dry, wet with a Bradshaw rack. Doing like the whole micro shift in the outside cabs, line mixer, so it's you get a little bit of dry in the cabs. It sounded like you'd hit a low E and it would be like a fucking earthquake. It was just like incredible.
Nothing better than that 3-cab deal.
Yeah, it's like the best sound.
Nothing better. That just sounds massive.
Yeah, it's the mix of all three. Because they're all a little bit different. You get more texture. Cool.
Just in terms of new production stuff, I've got in one of my Headfirst 4x12s, the red one that I've got creamback M65s and H75s on the bottom.
Yeah.
That's a cool. Great mix, man. I'm really loving that cab now.
Well,
that's a great combo.
The creamback M's are interesting because if you listen to comparison videos of those speakers, right, compared to a greenback, right, so they sound everything but the top end sounds identical to a greenback. It's just like a greenback had the top end rolled off. So it's actually really useful, but it's identical everywhere else. Like the low end, you're like, it's the same. The mids are the same, but just the top end is a little rolled, which in some instances is great because a greenback top end is super presence. It's like almost sometimes too glassy on the top, even though they say it's warmer, but that's a whole different thing. I mean, a vintage 30 has different frequencies that poke out, but like the greenbacks are quite present on the real highs.
I have a theory with those creambacks, and I've been saying it for ages, that the creamback 65s, they sound almost like a mic'd up greenback where you've done a low pass filter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. They sort of sound almost like a pre-recorded filtered greenback, but right in the room.
Some cabs, they work really well. Like they work really well in 212 cabinets that you automatically don't have the same, thick low end you do in a 412 and stuff.
Yeah,
work really well in that. But those H speakers are amazing sounding. I think those are great speakers too.
The only thing I found with the H was that I at the time bought it because everyone was saying that they mix good with the V30. but I was using it in a side-by-side 2x12. They
No.
overpower the V30 so much you can't even hear the
can't do that. Yeah.
It's just too overpowering.
Mixes in 212s don't work very well.
No, it's not.
No.
I think you need to do it in a 4x12 where you've got the 75s on the bottom and then the other speaker on the top.
Yep.
That's what I got.
It's got to
the
be away
65s
from your
on the
ears.
top and the 75s
it's got to be
on
away
the
from
bottom.
your ears because it's just really
it's killer.
It's just more efficient. I think it's 100 decibels efficiency, isn't it? So
yeah, that's why I did my cabinets that way with the greenbacks on top and the vintage 30s on the bottom. You know, when vintage 30s poking at the bottom, they're just filling it in.
That's a great combo too, man. That's just a classic, great sounding.
Works
combo.
really well.
Yeah. I've not done that with one of my own cabs actually. I'll have to try it sometime.
Especially with the new UK made again vintage 30s because the top end is rolled a little bit. On them, and it's so much better. I think.
Yeah, they sound a little bit more like the
old ones,
early 2000s ones.
Yeah,
dude. Next, Tracy.
Yeah,
come on, man. Thank you.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man.
Tracy's.
So I want to know, why do you do 9999? Can you not put an even figure in the number? I'm just curious. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, brother. Fuck.
Tracy's a classic, man. So Tracy messages me like, because he's gone fucking right down the rabbit hole on modding and
oh god, he's deep.
He's so into it. So this dude's on tour at the moment, and he's
making amps on the road.
He's on the tour bus with the fucking amp open.
And I've been on that tour bus. I know exactly what tour bus it is and where it is.
Smoking everyone out with solder fumes.
Exactly.
It's great.
So fucking awesome.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
It's incredible. Okay. Mikhail. Okay. Hello. Question to David and Dan. Can you recommend some new old stock vintage tubes, preamp and power for your amps? I have
me first.
Friedman Jose and a Gower Jose 3-way.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
You were going to say
okay, the reason I say don't do it is, okay, let's just talk power tubes. There's not much around anymore. You're going to pay an exorbitant amount of money for them if you do. Chances are, if they do fail, which there is a chance that they'll fail because, well, there's not much left out there. And you'll be really pissed off when they fail because you spent $500 on a set of power tubes or something. They don't necessarily sound that much better than tubes made today. Go reference Pete Thorne's EL34 video that we did.
Yeah, great video.
And he has a great pair of, we had a pair of Mullards, I think, in there that were great and all. But were they that much better or that much different than any of the other tubes that we put in that video? Not really. I don't think you should do it. Now, if you want to get in your first slot in the amp, you want to find a little NOS Mullard or Brimar or something like that in the preamp tubes, you can play with that. You know, it's a nominal amount of money to play with, and you can find a good preamp tube you might like in the first slot. That'd be cool. You know, I don't think you need to put it in all slots. I just don't think you need to waste that money. I mean, the tubes I select for the Jose, actually, you know, I use JJ power tubes in it because I like the best. I like that the best in that amp. I use Shugong Chinese preamp tubes, except for the first slots. Now, the first slots are the first two slots in that amp. I use JJs there just for low microphonics. Could you play with those two slots? You could. Is it going to get you that much of a difference? I don't know. Or at least the very V1 slot. You know, you can maybe find a Brimar or a Mullard or something that might sound really cool in there.
Are you using JJ's? Are you using JJ power tubes across the other amps as well, Dave?
No, I use JJ power tubes in the Jose and the Jakey Lee. and I use PS Vane, our own tested PS Vane EL34s and the rest. They're great tubes, actually, and I've had zero issues with the power tubes at all, like none. Really reliable, probably more reliable.
We're lucky to have those JJ tubes. I think they're amazing. I think they sound great. They're robust. They don't fail.
Like JJ power tubes sometimes fail, but I mean,
not all. I mean, I haven't had any issues.
I've used them for on and off for a lot of years, and when times they're failing or they're having a bad batch, then I switch away from them.
Yeah.
And I have seen this over the years. It has happened, but as of recent, no issues. I mean, not enough to care. I mean, a few here and there. We've had red plate or something, but not on a consistent basis. And believe me, I see with the number of amps we ship, we're going to see what's working and not working. So
yeah, absolutely.
I've had almost none of the PS Vanes fail though.
No, it's great.
Which are cool. And they're pretty good sounding too.
Yeah.
A little different. Maybe the JJ is a little smoother sounding and the other one's a little maybe grittier. But that could, depending on the amp, could be, you could go either way with that.
Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah. I'd say I kind of, agree with Dave on that. Thanks for the question, Mikhail. Like I would probably go with current production stuff because I mean, like I've had tons and tons of amps that have got original Mullards, RFTs, all kinds of other power tubes, and they do have a sound of their own. I'm never going to deny it and say that they don't, and say, oh yeah, the new stuff sounds the same. It doesn't sound the same, but the benefits you're going to get in those old tubes now, I don't think it's worth spending hundreds and hundreds on a set. I think if you can get a really, really good tested set of like EL34s, for example, I mean, they sound close enough to the RFTs from the 80s, for example. And those are like my favorite power tube of all time. Like I've always loved the EL34s,
those are good.
The slimmer glass bottle RFTs from the 70s and 80s. Everyone always, loves Mullards, but I've always preferred those. And I think that the EL34 is damn close to it, especially if it's like well burned in and biased up good, and if it's a well matched set, that's a big factor. When you find old NOS sets of EL34s, it's very rare you're going to end up with 4 that are actually within range of each other. If they're not relatively well matched, I mean, you are going to get some kind of crossover distortion, and you're going to get some noise because you're not getting that common mode noise rejection. So I would stick with the new stuff. That would be my recommendation, but I would definitely mess around a little bit, with the preamp section, because the odd ECC 83, a NOS one here and there can just add enough character to an amp. I mean, there's so many amps I've got that have got all new preamp tubes and power tubes, but then I might have like a long play EI. Yugoslavian ECC 83 that's in the phase inverter, and that completely changes the sound, right? It's like you get the old smooth plate EIs and everything, and I mean, it completely changes the tone. I also like those short plate RFTs from the 70s and 80s that used to come in the JMPs. They're really gainy as hell, and they've kind of got low microphonics normally. So if you can get some of them, and you don't have to pay a fortune, I would give them a try. But I wouldn't go spending hundreds and hundreds on power tubes, because you just got no guarantee that what you're getting is going to last you very long, or if it's even going to be matched enough to not be noisy and hum. This is the big factor.
Yeah. And preamps too, you got an issue with that too, microphonics. So if we're talking high gain amps, you could be spending all this money on your NOS preamp tube, and you get it, and it's not usable.
Yep.
You can't use it.
If you do,
unless someplace guarantees that it's non-microphonic, which these days I doubt.
I know someone that spent, well, he wouldn't tell me how much it was, so I can only assume it was a lot of money on a pair of very old EL34s. I can't even remember what they were, but they were like OG
Telefunken or something.
I think so, Dave.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got to look at these tubes because he needed to put them on my tester. He's he's a client of mine, so he was kind of around here picking up or dropping off amps, whatever. So we put him on the tester, and I was just using my maxi matcher, and one of them was just they came up 20, 22 milliamps on it, and one was 47.
Yeah. Perfect match.
Yeah. That's not gonna hum.
Yeah.
So what do you do? What do you do with these? Like this is a thing about
you find two more.
Yeah.
And hopefully you might get two pairs.
You put them in a box.
No good buying 4. You need to buy minimum 8 or
So they work.
12.
This is the thing about individually does it work? Yes. But you put it in your single ended EL34 amp.
Yeah,
at least if you buy a set of tubes from whatever tube vendor you have, and they're mismatched like that, you can go, "Hey, motherfuckers!"
Yeah.
See, like preamps, you're not gambling so much money on some preamp tubes. It's a lot.
No, this is it, man. Hey, so Dan, question for
gamble.
you: if you taken a let's say someone buys and sends you a brand new 2203X or a 1959 ham wide, brand new Marshall for you to mod, will you use the tubes straight out as they come? Will you do anything there as part of your tweaking?
What I'll do is I'll mod it and I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
And if it sounds great, I'm not touching it.
Yeah,
I simply don't give a shit what it says on the package. I really don't care if it says Mullard, if it says EH, if it says anything. All I care about, does it sound good? Is there noise? Is it actually working? Is it good? Is it reliable? Can I tap on the tubes and they're not screaming? If it's great, it's great. I'm trusting it. I'm trusting the whole process. But if I get it done, and I'm using sort of a typical recipe that I'm really familiar with, with components and everything, and I get it done, and I'm like, fuck, this doesn't sound good at all. Right. Then I'm definitely going to be swapping out tubes. I'll do that first and at least try a few combinations before.
And you're pulling the JJ preamp tubes out.
Yeah, but the thing is though, it's kind of interesting though, because a lot of times I end up putting a JJ in.
Well, in V1,
like a Chinese in V1, I'm normally not liking a Chinese one in V1.
I never do that.
I do sometimes, but
sometimes, but not often.
Most of the time, it's a JJ in V1 and Chinese in the rest. I hate a JJ in the cathode follower.
Interesting.
I don't like it in the cathode follower at all.
In my stuff, it's all right, but I'm doing a lot of plate fed stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So
well, that's different.
It's totally different in a plate fed circuit, but in a cathode follower, maybe it is there. Maybe there is something to it.
Yeah. I'll almost always do the preamp tube recipe, depending on the power tubes. I mean, most of the power tubes can be okay, that Marshall have used, so I might leave those. But I'll change the two preamp tubes, like the cathode follower and the other. And if I add another stage, I'll put probably two JJs in the first two slots.
Yeah,
it works, and it's low microphonic, and I don't have to sit there and Years ago,
that's the nice thing about the JJ.
Years ago, I used tongue soles in the first slots, but something happened. Something happened.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Never.
Years ago, the tongue soles sounded better than they do now. Now I think they sound awful.
So it's interesting. I like those in some things.
Really?
But not very, very rarely do I ever like it in anything that's 3 or 4 gain stages. If it's 5 gain stages,
I've had a really bad
brilliant. Sorry,
I've had a lot of failures with tongue soles as well.
Oh yeah, I've had them fail because they don't like cathode followers.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You've got even if you do DC heaters, you've still got to elevate it to run them. So it's not really great, but in 5 gain stage circuits, a tongue sole in the first couple of positions is killer. But but because they're kind of a little bit more open sounding, they don't really have that nice compression that you get with a JJ or with a, you know, with something else. But I was experimenting with those other JJ ones, the E83cc.
Yeah, those are cool.
They're cool. They're kind of like it's like
More
it's
open.
got the drive of a JJ, but it's got the kind of top end of a Chinese.
Yeah.
It's way more open, you know.
They're pretty cool. The and you know, occasionally an old Sovtek WB in the first slots sound good too. Those don't sound
WBs
terrible.
I only ever seem to end up like with amps coming in though that have WAs, or I had some amps that came in with WCs and they sounded terrible.
Yeah, and WA
really
in the phase inverter sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is with that, but it sounds like gooier or something, or like juicier feeling. It's an interesting thing. If an amp it lacks a little feel, sometimes it's good. I have like a box of those that kind of I inherited somewhere, and I'll occasionally put one in if I don't, because sometimes you'll mod an amp, right, and you're just like, it's fucking terrible. and then you got to go down the path of, you know, you got to go down that path of, okay, why is this suck so bad? What can I do to fix it? Where is the issue? You know, how do I tweak this particular amp to be good again? And then you go down this little rabbit hole of, you know, then you start like analyzing every voltage point, and you're analyzing what tubes are in it, and you're like, okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, that's a little bit better. And then finally you're like, oh, there we go. Done.
Yeah.
Kill up. All right. Let's move on. Spencer Morgan. Thanks, Spence. Okay. What set of 4 speakers would you all recommend to load into a Marshall 1960A 4x12? It's a JCM 900 slant cab. Looking for something reasonably available off the shelf, not old vintage.
I mean, it's greenbacks or vintage 30s right off the top of my head, off the shelf, or a combination of both. I guess it sort of depends on what sort of sound you're going after.
Yeah,
you know,
if you want a little bit more rasp on the top end, take the greenbacks. If you want a little bit more body, take the V30s. It's kind of that's
the new V30s are good. The new V30s are good.
Yeah,
I want to be back.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with those. And I haven't tried the new greenbacks, like the newer greenbacks. So
they're good.
You guys good with this?
Yeah,
there you go.
I don't know. You know, it's all how worn in are they? How beat up do you get them? Do you know, you got to wear them in a little bit. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I hear a new cabinet though that we have, and it's like, oh, that sounds good. It's great. Unworn in, even, you know.
Right.
So
if you like both and you can't decide, then just put both in.
Right,
the blend. It's hard to go wrong.
Greenbacks on top and vintage 30s on bottom, though. Works better that way.
100%. It does work. Okay.
And then if you're in the studio or you're doing stuff like that, you can mic either. Live, you could mic either.
Yep.
If in fact you use a cabinet live still.
And there's a whole nother rare event.
Whole nother terrible story. In the rare event, there's a real cabinet on stage.
Actually using a speaker cabinet.
Price. Makes going to live shows no fun anymore.
Oh no. Have you been to another show recently, Dave?
You know what I looked at? It's a friend of mine who mixes monitors, monitor mixer for all sorts of bands over the years, was doing Bruce Dickinson, and he was like, "Do you want to come down to the show at the Wiltern and see it?" And I kind of looked it up live, and I saw they were using fractal floor things, and I'm like looking at it going, "Nah, I'm gonna pass this time."
Yeah, I'm good.
It's sorry, that's just wrong.
I know. I don't know. I get the whole convenience thing. I understand all of that.
No, I understand, but God, it's terrible. It's terrible for
everyone.
everyone.
We're on to modelers.
Well, not exactly. I was saying, we were talking about cabinets. We were making fun of. Oh, on the rare occasion, there's a cabinet on stage.
Oh yeah,
and then I'm like, I was invited to go see Bruce Dickinson by a monitor engineer I know. That's a friend of mine, and that was tonight actually. And I looked it up live just to see what I was in for, and I saw that they were using fractals on the floor. And I'm like going, never mind. No cabinets, no nothing. I'm like, never mind. Not interested.
It's not much fun.
Going to see an old, I mean, like, okay, yes, his newer music is not the old music, but going to see a band like that and not have cabinets on stage, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No,
I saw him last not this previous summer, but the one before, when he was on like a summer festival tour. It was cool. But
yeah, no, it would have been okay.
I just
nothing
like to write home about, like with the guitar tones or anything. You know?
Yeah, I was just like, I saw that, and I was a little on the fence about going anyway, and I was just like, I've been gone so much this month. I'm like, oh, go out again? Oh God, I don't really want to go out. Go down. It sounds like a lot of, Next month I'm going out again. Go see the Darkness.
Oh, nice. They're always great fun.
November.
Can't say no to that one.
No, it's so good. The guitars are so loud in the mix, it's not even fucking funny. It's like
that's a show.
You're pinned against the wall with guitars.
Great.
It's just like way louder than anything. Just guitar.
Hell yeah.
Super good.
Man.
And they're playing at the Wiltern Theater here, which I saw them last year in the Wiltern Theater, and it was fucking fantastic. And then there's a bunch of drinking that happens after backstage. Well, actually, he doesn't drink anymore, Justin, but his brother still does.
Man. Yeah. Okay. Question here from Walrus. Thanks for the super chat. Dave, I recently discovered I like my BE50 best with the response at 0, and I turn the presence to 8, the treble at 7. Is this considered normal?
Sure, man. I mean, it's just you have more negative feedback. So I mean, that's more like the negative feedback of a vintage Marshall, so to speak. Close around like a 47K off a speaker tap, like off the 16 ohm tap, roughly. That's what roughly that is. So that's like kind of normal to me. I mean, sure, it has a certain sound for sure, and then you would have to pull the presence up and the treble up for sure. But sure. I would suggest you also try it with the thump knob off, and then re-EQ your entire amp.
Yeah. We were chatting about that probably the last stream, was it?
I almost think you should start with the thump off and EQ everything first to that. Maybe your mids are going to be lower than they were before, and maybe the bass higher, and maybe your treble and presence might be in different spots. But do that first. And then if you feel like you need a little more low end, you can add a little bit in. Instead of starting with a whole shit ton. And then, because it just sounds more natural without it to me. It sounds more like all the amps you grew up with, like an 800 or Plexis. Yeah. Okay. It just sounds more. It's interesting because without that low end, all of a sudden you're like, oh, the amp is bright enough. Oh, the amp is this, and it's not too dark, and the low end sometimes just kind of masks it all.
Well, I think also if you can use less negative feedback, obviously you get the same effect in the bottom end anyway, but because you're not shaving, because the top end isn't being shaped as well, because you're kind of getting that big top end roll off really when you put the depth control up. You don't have that happening, and you've got the low end. You've kind of got like full frequency response coming through, and I think that is a little bit more. Yeah, exactly. There's more mids, there's more top, and you get more of that raspy sort of hair on the notes. And I always find, like, for me, that that works better than using loads of depth, resonance, thump, whatever everyone wants to call it. You know, it's just
especially if you're putting it in a mix, right? With his
yeah.
Oh,
other
in a
things
mix,
in
forget
a,
it.
in a
yeah,
mix,
totally
I
different.
don't
Whole
think
different
you
animal,
need like
you know?
no, exactly. I don't think you really need hardly any depth control at all in a mix because obviously you're going to be overstepping the bass player. I think you can easily do away with that unless you've got a bass player who has a really clicky kind of percussive bass sound. Then maybe okay, you might want that thumpy sort of swampy bottom end of a big depth cap or something. But still, like 9 out of 10 times, anytime I record, I'm like it's off almost. It's just it fits the mix better.
Yeah,
This
totally. And
question here. Go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to say it cleans up the sound on stage too. Like if you're sitting there with your 4x12 cabinet on stage next to the drummer, next to the bass player's rig or whatever, and if your depth is all the way up, it's just adding to this like
just fighting
messy bottom end that just like
and they're covering those frequencies more than you're ever going to do with any depth control. You're never going to compete with that, you know. So it's like, well, why add more to the mix? You know, just use as much as you need, but don't use so much that you actually completely like neuter the top end of an amp.
It's sort of interesting. So like the Jose amp, you know, is traditional. It has no depth, thump, resonance, whatever you want to call it. It has none of that. I specifically didn't put it on there. And it's funny. No one once has ever said, "Oh, I wish it had more thump."
No one has.
No one has. Just imagine that.
It doesn't need it. It's there.
And if you want the more low end, you can mix channel 2 in a little bit and get a little more thickness to it, you know, or something. But no one, they're all like, this sounds amazing. This is the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, it just goes, I don't need the, well, especially if you're going to do the pre-tone stack master thing.
Yeah,
if you're doing that, it's got tons of thump, man.
It's got a wider sound anyway.
Yeah,
so
it does. For that circuit. This question. So I don't know if, you know, a lot of amps now have this kind of response control. Jason has one on his amp. And I don't know if anybody ever tries that at 0. And what this guy's saying, I love a lot of negative feedback where that's on 0 and then you boost the presence in the treble.
Yeah.
It gets like kind of spongy in a way. Like I like that.
This is like I already answered that. It was like it's like 47K off a 16 ohm tap, roughly when it's at 0. So which in turn is like a vintage amp. You know, lots of negative feedback.
If you do that thing though, I've tried to explain this to kind of regular guitar players who've been around here, and I've shown them that trick, Shay, just to kind of show like, okay, you can dial this amp up and you can get these, you know, lots of mid-range with the less negative feedback and more kind of vintagey kind of sounds. But I said, if you want to get this other kind of sound, then try this, you know, put the depth on 10, the presence on 10, negative feedback all the way, while the response on 0. So it's got tons of negative feedback. And it does change the character of the amp completely. And you get this, it's almost like I say to guys, it's kind of like on the old Mark Series amp where you put the graphic cube with the scoop. It has that. I know it's not the same, right? Because it's in the power amp and not, you know, before the phase inverter, but it's a very similar kind of net effect, you know.
It is a similar kind of thing, you know, because also like those Mark Series amps, they sound, you know, the presence control is a negative feedback control, and when it's completely on 0, I mean there's like what, I can't remember the value exactly, but it's less than 10K resistance, right? And I mean it's going to I think it's going to the 8 ohm tap. So I mean it's like really, really smooth. And I always find that as soon as you start turning that presence up in a Mark Series, it doesn't take long before it gets harsh, because it's kind of designed for that thing. But that's a superb sound, and it's a great example of like really, you know, a ton of negative feedback in the circuit. It's very, very big, very very chunky sounding, but it's not harsh at all in the top end.
Yeah, man.
It's very nice
100%.
to play through.
100%. All right, we're going to give a shout out to Rocco again. He's this was a chat from way back at the beginning, but if anyone didn't catch the beginning of the stream, who joined us subsequently, go back to the replay and check out the video that Rocco has done for us, which is our new intro. We'll play it at the end too, right? We'll
Yeah, thanks, Rocco.
Outro.
Yeah. It's
Really,
too good
really
not to play on the intro. And
Yeah.
the outro.
Thank you, Rocco.
Where does Rocco live? Where's he from? Do we know?
It's Italy, right?
Italy, I
Italy?
think, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think.
Man, Italy has.
I think you're right. I think he is. I think he's Italian. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I need to buy him a beer sometime if I'm in Italy.
Yeah, man. You will. Question here. We've got what have we got? 35 minutes to the 3-hour mark, guys. So we'll try and blast through some of this. Okay. Our opinion on the new Synergy JMP module 0-watt power amp emulation. Is it something like that's in the Metroplex Mark II?
I'm probably the only one that knows this.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's similar to what's in the Metroplex Mark II. It's a matter of opinion which sounds better. If you want to check out a cool video, though, Passion for Tone just did one. Joe, where it was the Synergy module versus a real early 70s Marshall.
Okay.
And man, I don't know. It's pretty spot on. I mean, it's within a few percent of each other.
Yeah.
And it was, even I'm listening, like going, huh, look at that. That's pretty great. But I mean, I heard this Synergy JMP as it was going through its paces.
I think this has been described. It might even be noted in the marketing literature, Dave. But this phase inverter pushing into a tiny transformer. That's what it is, right?
Yeah. In the end, this one might. I can't remember. There's been a few iterations of this. This one might not have wound up into a transformer. I don't remember, but there was. It can go into a transformer. It can be done a different way also. So I know the Dr. Z module that has it in it is done into a transformer. In the end, I forgot what wound up happening with this one, but it was passed around and listened to for sure.
It's interesting, the little transformer trick, because this is something that Tommy Folkesson in Sweden was doing since the early 80s. This is like part of his big mod.
Yeah.
And he has like a small, I've never actually reversed one or anything because it's epoxy potted, so you can't really do it without destroying the thing. But it's got like a bolted to the chassis like epoxy pot where it's got like a transformer in there, and it's a Class A 1287 power amp, and then the whole thing goes into that, and then it comes out of that and goes into the Marshall power section.
This is a little different. I mean, I think it's more like so most of the distortion that happens in a Marshall is from the phase inverter distorting.
Yeah.
Not really the power section. The power section will EQ it per se a little bit, but most of it is the fact that it's phase inverter distortion.
Yeah.
And so if you do a similar thing where it's a phase inverter and has you have two outputs of the phase inverter, so they have to be summed in some respect down to a single-ended output. So a transformer makes sense to do that with.
Yeah.
So
you have like a center tapped primary and then just a single.
Something like that.
Yeah. I've never experimented with that.
It's interesting. It's cool.
Because you're running the phase inverter. I mean, this is like, if you imagine, like you think about a push-pull power section and how that's wired to the primary of your output transformer. It's the same thing, but you just thrown it onto the outputs of the PI.
Yeah.
But then you can also apply feedback, and there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. So, fine tuning it from that concept is the fun part.
Yeah.
It's cool though.
Yeah,
I mean,
cool.
the module sounds amazing. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I'd like to hear one.
Yeah. I mean, it does its thing.
Sounds cooler than the new amps to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
agree on that
Cool
one.
now.
Sounds better
Yeah.
than the modifieds. Hey Dan, there's a question here for you from Daniel. These guitar shows. How do you pronounce that first name?
Oh, Woking.
Woking.
I don't even know when they are. No idea. That's to be confirmed. If I do end up going, I'll announce it on my socials. So
do you know when they are? You don't. You just said you don't.
No idea.
Okay. You better look it up, man. Sounds like that'd be probably quite cool. Okay. Brian Hill is asking, hi Dave, does the Warren DiMartini amp have any voice-in mods? And what model was it? A super lead? What mods have you seen in his other Marshall heads?
I've only worked on the main one. The main one is a lay down Transformer 68 Plexi with at this point original filtering, so I kind of refurbed it. So meaning the 15 mic in the screen supply. And the front end of it is essentially an 800. The only slight difference, and it's kind of interesting, the shielded wire to the input jack is shielded off the plate of the amp, and the 68K is at the input jack. So it does suck a little top end off.
Yeah, you get that cable capacitance going.
And the cable in his amp is pretty good. It's not too capacitancy, but you definitely get that roll off. Other than that, it's an 800 front end with a master and everything. And he runs the master at 10. So
Nice.
So what you're essentially getting is a and the gain is 8 or 10, and the gain
he's running it like a super lead with a
yes, and the gain is sitting around 6-ish to 7-ish. So the bright cap is kicking in and tightening it up a little bit there on the front end, but then the rest of it is just fucking cooking.
That's so loud, man.
But in his studio he's using it to a power station or something, The thing is though, is that essentially is sort of like a Plexi with a little extra gain.
Yeah.
And you think about that, this is like the best amp ever to do this on. You have this great amp and you do that. It has a sound, man. It has a distinct sound, and you can't change that shielded wire at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
We tried it. We played with it to not hot shield it, and the hot shielding just adds something to that recipe that is just like great.
Yeah, there's something to it.
That was something that Frank Levi did for him a while back. I saw one other amp that had the exact same thing, but it had a post-phase master on it.
Okay.
So which would give you bass sort of the same kind of thing, sort of.
It's just attacking it a different way, right?
It might be a little brighter because the negative feedback loop gets out of the equation.
Yeah.
But
so is there a loop in Warren's amp?
No.
So if he's does he use any like delay or echo or anything in his
in front?
In front.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was this the amp?
Old school.
Was this the amp used on all the records?
Yeah, it was not on every record, but it was used on some of the records. Yeah, like I think it was used in Invasion of Your Privacy, and
Kill a Tone, man.
Maybe another one. It broke somewhere in there, so it didn't get used on a couple records.
I've been listening. I've actually went back and listened to all that stuff again because I watched the Rick Beato interviews where he interviews producers.
Yeah.
And one of the more recent ones he did, he asked the guy, what's your perfect song? It's a standard question he asks all the people that he's interviewed, right? And without hesitation, the guy said, "Round and Round."
I don't know if it was using that one, but
I was like,
but yeah,
fuck, I got to go back. And I went back and hadn't heard this stuff for a little while. Like, oh man.
Some of the other records though, like Invasion of Your Privacy and what was the other? Reach for the Sky, that record.
Yep.
Those guitar tones are pretty epic. And,
yeah,
there was always this compression to his sound. Like it had this gooey compression-y kind of it wasn't like the typical Marshall bitey thing. It had more of a
squish
to it. Yeah, exactly, right.
It's a squish.
And honestly, when I heard that amp cranked like he was using it, and then you just adjust the gain till it leans out just enough where it's tight. And then when you hear that and then you played a JB pickup through it, you're like, oh, that's the sound.
yeah, especially if it's an old JB as well, because those older ones do have the more squishy bottom end.
Because originally it would have been an old JB, that would have been what was available at the time. That's what he used at the time.
Absolutely, yeah, it does make a difference, especially with those kind of amps. A JB is magic with the right amp.
Yeah,
I've been playing around with that more recently, and it's like it reminded me just how there's a reason why that thing is so magic, and so legendary.
I love
you make me want to go back
and
try JB again because I've kind of got a love-hate with JBs.
Oh yeah, I know. The interesting thing about that though is like I got an Antiquity JB recently.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's really important that you play with the height of that pickup.
I like them really close to the strings.
Really?
I like them crazy close.
I don't like it crazy close. It gets too low endy for me. It's like
maybe you've got your hand. I always talk about this picking hand sound, but like maybe your hand tone is more bottom heavy.
Maybe
than mine is. It could be maybe the way I pick the string, but I think I angle the pick so much. I do that kind of like. Almost like Akira Takasaki does
sure.
Angles the pick.
I do that too, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's I don't know. It has a sound to it, but I can kind of get away with a really high set pickup.
I pulled the Shea thing where backing off the hot pickup.
Right.
And it kind of worked. It kind of like made the low end more like I like it.
It controls it more. Yeah, it definitely makes it tighter.
There's definitely a lot pickup height, man. That's a fucking.
It's a whole other topic.
A lot can be done.
And
everything damn rabbit hole. There's a lot of fucking rabbits.
Pickup height per pickup is a different thing. You got to find the right magic height for the pickup you're currently using, because it might be radically different.
100%.
There's a guitar question here that let's just change tact here a little bit. And it's on the pickup. So Victor BB, Dave or anybody ordered a limited production Sugar Pine Tele body from Monomyth. What era of Telecaster pickups would you use? And do we care about quarter saw necks?
I'm not so clued up on Tele pickups. So
Tele pickups,
I do this one. No, I'm no good with this.
Do you want a quiet one? I don't know what era, to be honest. There were so many eras, and I've heard so many different teles that do different things. I mean, I'm a fan of Fralin Telecaster pickups. Those are really good.
Yep.
But he can overwind them if you want. It depends on if you want it to sound like real traditional or a little hotter. He also makes a noise canceling, completely quiet tele pickup that is possibly the quietest pickup I've ever heard. In my shop, I can have it into a blazing high gain amp, and my shop has a lot of like residual like EMF and buzz. This pickup, I even showed it to Pete Thorne. I go, listen to this. It's wide open and there's like nothing, no buzz. He's like, what the fuck?
Like, why can't they all be this way?
And so that's a really cool pickup, actually. So
yeah,
I don't know. There's my suggestions.
yeah. Bare Knuckles also usually kind of good for this stuff. I know
Yeah.
Tim Mills is hardcore into his tellies, so like you know he doesn't fuck about when it comes to tones. So you know definitely.
Tim's
you know,
great. He
look
makes
into
great
those
pickups.
as well. Yeah, I've got them in nearly every guitar. It's just they're awesome.
Yep, for sure.
Highly recommended.
Yeah, Brooke's asking, hey guys, I'm new to servicing my own amps. I've heard of people biasing their amps hot. When you guys bias hot, do you adjust to a target value like percent dissipation or by the sound and feel?
This is my buddy, by the way. What's up, Brooke? If you're still here,
hey, Brooke.
Can I quote Dave on this one? It depends.
It depends.
Yeah,
Yeah. There you go. Please do.
Yeah.
That's a question for you then, Shay. Come on, man.
Oh man, you know it does. I will say this, just being honest, I've never really liked amps biased super hot. I've never been into that too much.
Same.
I like, I've almost prefer them. I like kind of like the middle of the road, but sometimes depending on the tube, like I'll even back it down a little colder and find something there too. So I don't know.
I generally
don't
like
know.
it around. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, when did this? I feel like this became a thing in the amp community of just guitar players that if you bias the amp hot, it was going to be better. I don't know exactly where that came from. Was that EVH when he turned the shit up all the way?
You know what? I remember. I actually remember I remember on the forums, like back in like the rig tool days, this used to be a thing. Like everyone used to be saying, "Oh yeah, man, I always bias it. Like I bias my Marshall to like 45 per tube and like all this kind of stuff." And I was just. It was
fucking
like
blind leading the blind on all those.
You know what? I remember it was back when like I remember it was when I had a Cameron. And
he biased it hot.
He biased it crazy hot, like
40 or 50.
Yeah, he had them biased like over 40 for sure, like on some of those apps.
Yeah, man.
And maybe it worked for that kind of sound
not my
that
thing.
he was going with,
like it.
But no, I think
here's the thing. I'll always go if you can bias it pretty much as hot as you'd like if you're going to play at bedroom volumes.
Yeah.
You know, because your tubes are never going to over dissipate and they're never going to go past a certain point. You can bias it to 50, and if you're playing at whisper volumes, it's going to stay relatively at 50 and it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
If you're playing it on 10, the bias is going to go to like 100, through the roof, and then they'll red plate and it'll be over with.
Yeah, exactly.
So where are you going to play your amp? What are you going to play it at? You know? So, I mean, most of the time Ken Fisher had an interesting theory on this. He kind of said most amps you can bias between most, like, shall we say 100 watt, 50 watt amps, Marshall-y kind of things, Fender-y kind of things. Between 30 and 40 mils, whatever you like the sound of in that thing is fine.
Yeah.
And it's kind of true. You know, if you bias a Marshall to, 60% dissipation and it's a 480 volt amp, it's around 33 mils, and it's maybe 35 mils if it's 70% roughly.
Yeah.
You could go a little hotter. Between 30 and 40, wherever you like it, it's pretty good. And it's almost across the board, unless we're talking like 6v6 deluxes or something. But I mean, most 6L6 50 watt or 100 watt amps, anywhere between those settings is fine.
Safe range, right?
Safe range.
I do sometimes when I'm doing when I'm doing the production amps and I'll get them to a certain range, sometimes I will tweak the bias just a little bit on the bottom end. Like I'll just like hit the notes and I'll just adjust it. There is kind of a sweet spot.
Yeah.
And that sweet spot can be within 4 milliamps sometimes,
Guys that really play like, shall we say, stock style Marshalls on 10 all the time, I bias to 30.
Yeah.
Because it just works better.
Yeah.
Safe.
You
They
know,
don't die so quickly then either, you know?
yeah.
It's-
It just sounds tighter when it's cranked up that much too. It just sounds a little bit more percussive. It's a little bit better.
I agree, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
the
yeah,
bias too hot,
absolutely.
you kind of lose that punch.
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah.
bass section. Yeah.
Yeah,
you do.
you know, it changes the headroom of the amp. I mean, the other thing
Yeah.
is also if you bias a little bit too cold, like let's say I had one amp that came in and it was biased like 25 per tube, and it was 100-watt standard, 100-watt Marshall, and like just plugging into that, cranking it up loud and playing like AC/DC riffs, it was perfect because there was some crossover distortion happening. You could see it when I scoped it.
Yeah.
It was like there was a little bit of ugliness. There was a good kind of ugliness
You
to
got
the sound. It
some
wasn't
artifacts in there.
yeah, there was some weird artifacts. There was some kind of weird harmonics coming through, and it was magic. As soon as then I biased it up to like 34, 35, that was gone. So I, you know, but I was modifying it, so it wasn't going to be staying that way. But I just thought it was interesting, you know, sometimes going the opposite way, going a little bit too cold. Not too cold, but colder, you know, can also be interesting.
Yeah.
Got to be with the right amp and the right parts, you know, everything else.
It always makes me laugh, and I know you guys would have experienced this 100 times. How many amps you've had in that have, you know, like an old 70s JMP or whatever, you've come in and you go to check the bias, and of course you realize that it's too cold normally. And then you go to look to adjust it, and you can see that the bias pot's been wound all the way.
Yeah.
So some lazy
bastards.
Some lazy bastards put fucking YouTubes in there. They wound the bias pot as far as they could, and that's been, oh, fuck it, I'll leave it like that.
Always, yeah. The 56K, you know, in line with the bias pot is never low enough. It needs to be like down to like 47K for new tubes. Yeah. It's better to just change it out, like without even thinking when you lift the board to do any other work.
Okay, let's do. What have we got? 15 minutes left, guys.
Yeah, what we got?
Blast through some of this stuff. Anyone
15 minutes left in a 3-hour show.
Yeah, this one went pretty fast.
Oh yeah,
for me. It did.
I'm just scrolling through this.
I'm gonna look back at the top because I saw some cool stuff at the top.
Yeah, if you find something, give me a shout.
I'll let you know.
Actually, this one here, let me just highlight this one because I thought it was quite interesting. Where is it? I'll find it now. Someone made a comment here about the Mark series reissue. I thought it was quite interesting.
The one that oscillates.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Here it is. Here it is. Okay. So, hi guys. Do you remember the big public outcry about oscillation in the Mark II C+ reissue? Yeah, I do. That was a proper reissue because the old amps they oscillate too, don't they? My friend from the Danval channel discovered the reason why it occurs and how to fix it. So this is I thought interesting. It disconnected the reverb tank and it disappeared. It's a one-wire fix where the ground is, and caused by a ground loop. If you watch the videos, if you're interested, I haven't seen the videos, and maybe I'll check it out. But I think we would have all had experience where in a high gain circuit where bad grounding or a ground loop condition will cause a squeal.
Yeah.
You'll see it a lot with when people set up 4 cable methods and crap like that. With amps, right? And they'll say to you, you know, when I run the clean channel, it's perfect. It's no problem. And when I go into channel 3, it squeals.
Get an ISO transformer and stick it between the front of your 4 cable method and the front of the amp, and it'll fix it
every time.
Yeah, I saw this thing with the Mesa Boogie Mark II.
Yeah, grounding cannot be
one wire fix. I asked the guys at Gibson and Boogie and stuff. I go, so are you guys implementing that fix? He's like, what fix?
No.
No, we just put out a new amp.
Do you ever watch any of Randall Smith's podcasts? Yeah, where he was saying about that amp, he said it's like they fired him and he already told them it was a prototype that oscillates. He said it doesn't work, and they just straight ahead put it into production. Like, oh fuck it, no one cares. They'll deal with the oscillation.
He said that about the reissue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! So he was still there when the reissue was being.
Yeah. They fired him before they actually put it into production, and he even told them like it's not working. It needs to be redesigned. And they were just obviously like, yeah, fuck it, we'll just.
Well, it's a really easy fix. Literally,
Yeah.
the guy moves one wire and it's fixed.
To be honest with you, the proximity of the tubes is probably a bigger problem than any of that. I think they're putting something that's further downstream right next to the input tube. I mean, you'd never do that with an amp. I'd never do it with an amp. No. Nobody would. I mean, it's like,
no. Yeah. I know what
you never put like a loop tube or something near an input tube.
Nope.
It's going to oscillate. It's always going to happen. Yeah. So it's clearly, whoever is at Gibson don't know what they're talking about.
Question here for you, Dave. Sessions with Jeff. Just which year the Bucks and Betty was discontinued? Guys looking to buy one.
I have no idea. I have no idea what year it was technically discontinued. So you got me several years ago, probably even like 5 years ago.
Was it pre-pandemic?
That's a good question.
Probably
the pandemic's a blur to me. So
tell me what the old price
was maybe around the pandemic or something.
Yeah.
Tell me what the original
killer amp.
Yeah, cool amp.
Same channel as in the B50.
Total horse shit. So anyone who's listening back on audio only, Marvel Harris has just said Dave is so right about live shows now. Total horse shit.
You have to go to see particular bands that I know that are gonna like, for instance, the Darkness. Go see the Darkness.
Yeah,
there's real amps on stage and they're loud.
I just
silent stages are bullshit.
Yes,
100% bullshit.
Dave, I don't know if you saw when you were traveling around, you had some good YouTube content within the last few weeks, man. You had the guy from System of a Down did like a rig rundown. Saw that. That's good to see.
Yep.
I like to see that, they're like talking
Lots
about
of Friedmans.
Yeah, man. You had a hell of a good month, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone know Aquila Ross is asking, Tony Iommi allegedly used a modded Marshall on the Heaven and Hell album. Did anyone heard about that?
Nope.
Was it modified by the guy who did the ones for Blackmore? Was it Dawk? Like Dawk, I think his name was spelled. That guy who used to mod the majors for Richie Blackmore. Was it?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I thought I'd read somewhere that maybe he did it, but maybe I'm wrong.
I've never even heard about it.
No clue.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
I know around that kind of time he started using boogies. So
what's up, Mark?
Sorry, dude. I'm just going. You can see the way this live stream works, Mark, is that we spend 2 hours talking about shit before we even get to the chat, and so by the time we get to the chat, we're like miles behind.
This one went a little bit. Yeah, this one went a little bit longer.
Yeah, but yeah, all is well, man. About to watch what is that? Is that a sports team?
Yes,
football.
Okay. Well, football season's just finished here.
American football.
Yeah, I know what
not
it'll be.
Not your guys' kind of football.
Not Aussie rules.
Not soccer.
Not soccer. No.
No.
Nobody calls it soccer.
Yeah. So you call like football is with the round ball, right, Dan?
Yeah. Footy.
Yeah.
That's about it, really.
Oh man, we just blasted through all this, and I think
we've
Good
done 3
handles.
hours.
Yeah.
all right.
Pretty
So what I'm
much.
going to do now is I'm going to see if I can queue up.
My wife's like, "When are you coming?"
When
Coming
are you
home?
coming back? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to go to dinner. So
Yeah.
So what time's it there for
Well, we'll
you
finish
now,
it
Dave?
here, guys. We'll
5 p.m.
Ah,
we're
8
2
for me.
hours 55. So man, that's close enough to 3. It's good for me.
Oh,
Good enough for
Mhm.
me. We're gonna sign off and try and play this Rocco's video again, man. So hang on the line,
You
guys. And
you
we'll have-
play it. I'm not
Dan.
gonna hang. I gotta go.
Oh, you
so-
gotta go. All
I'll
right.
see you guys later.
See you, everyone.
see you later, mate.
I'll play
Thanks
it.
for tuning in. We'll see you again soon.
See you guys.